He really knows how to use his pieces. And again, I'm going to reiterate, when it comes to the pieces right now, Tessus and Nuts are peaking together.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. They're peaking together. And we had Dexter. We're starting to see signs of the old Dexter. Maybe a miracle could be pulled off here.
All right, then. Well, we're going to get into the action now. It will be Spirit, Heroic on Ancient. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Richard. Team Spirit versus Heroic. It has the potential, especially on this first map of Ancient, to be a banger. Both teams looking to qualify into the major playoffs. And needless to say, Team Spirit are the favorites coming into this series, Jason.
Yeah, but you know what? As someone who's been down on Heroic since this lineup came together, while enjoying the pieces but haven't really seen it coming together, they keep surprising me, and they keep playing better than I always expect them to. So, fair play. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt coming into this series. They've got a real chance here against a Spirit team that, while, you know, Donk is looking great, obviously, while they're getting to this point of qualification, we have seen a couple weaknesses show up here and there throughout this run. A couple shocking losses. But Ancient is a map that's going to be supremely comfortable for them. And right now, heading into the 8 bumps, and it's only Shush here. When the utility rings out, it'll pull over kyxsan as well. But is there any stopping power in these two?
Shush waiting to the left side of the big box. Donk is out first. Big swing. And Donk is the first kill of this series. Shush to fall. And they try to keep moving forward. kyxsan gets one in from tempo, but Donk hunts him down. And we heard Magix before this saying that it all depends on Donk today. It depends on whether he is going to show up and deliver. And if he has one of those big games, who can stop Spirit?
A little memey, but maybe on Ancient when they switch over to the CT side, Donk is a big piece of the defense. They're going to get back into safety. USP, ooh, bad time for the boost, and he can't get off his teammate's head. Gift over to Dexter into the 3-on-3 as the retake begins.
Oh, peek out from Magix, not able to connect the shots, but certainly not missing is Zontix as he takes 3 kills and closes out this first round for Team Spirit.
Yeah, man, it's a bummer on that defense. Shush behind the big box. When you miss that initial opportunity with that slight gap and you're stuck at big box, you just know you're in tons of trouble. The swing doesn't pan out. Even with the gift of that boost handing over the life of Donk, not able to make the retake work. Good kills from Zontix. And that would be one of those weaknesses looking down, as the supporting cast of Spirit in recent times have been a little bit quiet, but we've seen life in them coming back here at the Major as they've made this run.
Yeah, certainly a lot of weak points earlier on in the RMRs, with some maps being dropped for Team Spirit that we didn't expect. Then into the Major, not exactly the most convincing from them, but they're starting to warm up.
I mean, I tell you,
has got rid of Tessus.
When you beat Navi 13-2,
yeah,
it's kind of a sign that you're coming back.
And I said this a few days ago when we were casting Spirit. I said it feels like this team are the roster in top Counter-Strike that dismantle, destroy teams more often than anybody else, right? You see the most 13-2s, the most 13-3s dished out by Team Spirit. I mean, Donk's first game at Katowice this year was a 13-0 win. Like, this happens. Team Spirit can get into the gear, and it doesn't matter who's on the other side. You know, Navi, the best performing team of this year on average, and they destroyed them earlier.
I think a lot of that comes down, I mean, obviously to Donk, but just the role he plays and having someone performing so well in it the way that he is. When you have your entry player being that dominant and that strong of a force, you can snowball a lot of games because he provides you a lot of 5-on-4s, a lot of 5-on-3s even.
Yeah, let's continue that conversation around Donk, because he did start the year with one of the greatest performances we've ever seen in Katowice, and everybody's starting to think, okay, he's clearly front runner easily for #1 in the world. That stalled out as the year went on. His Team Spirit's results didn't necessarily live up to the expectations they set for themselves. So the conversation became a 3-way race between Monesi, Zaiwu, and Donk, and I think a lot of people agree that whoever wins this major is going to be considered the #1.
Yeah, this major has decided it all, and I think the players obviously don't care about that, don't really consider it in the way they play the game. That's just a fun thing for us to kind of keep track of and talk about. It's a good conversation point. And yeah, Donk might have slowed down in that race as the legs fell out from beneath Team Spirit in the middle around the Cologne time, which is a horrifying tournament for him.
It's maybe something they don't think about now, but certainly something they will think about after their careers, right? When you look back on things, I'm sure Simple at the moment is sitting back and maybe realizes there's more that he can achieve, and obviously he's got that hunger to come back and realizes it's maybe not going to be as easy. So you don't want to leave anything out there. And right now, for Donk, obviously not going to be thinking along those lines yet, but for Team Spirit, they've got to get him there, got to support him to that point, and we're looking at a 3-0 start here for Team Spirit.
And remember the conversation too about peaking at the right moment in the season, peaking at the major as well, being such an important thing for teams who have won it in the past. That's a big talking point for them. Spirit with that huge win over Navi, qualifying for this, as we mentioned, some shakiness back in the RMR, some shakiness perhaps in different stages, but If you come into the major playoffs and you're starting to play your A game, it's a perfect feeling to go into the playoffs with. It's also a conversation that I had the other day when we were watching the Mongols play in the reverse sense of, are you peaking too early? Can you maintain this form? The incredible, the run through the Asia RMR, the run through the opening stage, now the elimination stage. Can you keep this up through the playoffs as well?
I just wonder how high the mountain is going to go. And Bly had that conversation on the desk as Richard asked him, you know, Heroic have been peaking. They've been getting better and better as this tournament has went on. And we're just wondering, sure, it may have hit their peak, but is it high enough to defeat Team Spirit? We're about to find out. As we get into the gun rounds, Heroic will have their bye. Dexter on the AWP. We started to see more classic performances from him over the last few days. Donk inside of elbow. He's managed to get himself comfortably into the corner, and he wants to go out and fight this, but the fire tickles at his toes.
Yeah, nice little Molotov to block that pathing because he's willing to challenge it. We know that. He'll take mid control. Miss Smoke up in the plants, up in the jungle.
Yeah, that one gets a laugh.
With this position in middle safely for Donk. Magic's keeping information on any aggression down the B ramp. Spirit's going to start working the map. Bomb comes back to B. Donk threw that smoke out towards Donut a little bit ago, so they're not utilizing it to cross over towards red. But it's certainly going to apply that pressure to Heroic, thinking the possibility of a lurk in the middle of the map is something they have to consider. Tess's in cave. Dexter with the AWP in the B bomb site. Molotovs for this position, and he'll have to make a decision when the execute comes in.
Two heavy hitters here for Heroic looking to defend this B bomb site. Team Spirit with 45 seconds left start to make their move, and through cave they will go. Chopper at the front, Donk doing down, and now Shiro able to follow up. It's an AK into the kill on Tessa. Dexter holds off the B ramp, but he's taking damage, and he drops down around the corner, so Shiro has to come out from cave and fight. And Magix is left 1v3, and all of his teammates gone. Heroic hold on to the B site, and they get their first round win.
Yeah, good aggression from Dexter when the chaos is coming in on the execute, stepping forward into the fight over at ramp. Nice double kill in cave that gives him safety to make that kind of a play happen, and pins down the Spirit players, prevents them from swinging wide. Perhaps due to that missed smoke, but by the time they pull the trigger on the B hit, there's no smokes for long, there's no smokes for short. They needed a knockout punch coming from cave, and Tess's prevents that from happening. Timeout taken by
first
Spirit.
Timeout.
Yeah,
really early on in the game, but wanted to discuss this gun round as Shiro gets the AWP out.
I mean, look, they're spending all their money in this round. Everything they've got is going into this. A little bit is left over for Zontix and Chopper after their investment. Chopper going down to a Tech 9, and they're basically just saying, let's not let Heroic get out to a good CT side start. Coming up with a tactic. They know the AWP is in play. Might have a money round lined up to give them a win that they're so confident in. They want to bust it out early at a critical moment. Good flashbang, nice jump from kyxsan to keep Magic's attention on the peak, susceptible to the flash.
Flash going up into B. The smoke for long. Molotov in towards kyxsan. And here come Team Spirit. Charging it at the front. Magix followed in by Donk. And that's a great headshot, but the initial defense is solid from Heroic. They've got 2 kills, and that keeps them up a player. Bomb plant going down for Team Spirit. Tessa still in cave.
They need to get something when they don't have cave control.
And here comes the aggression. They realize that something can come from short. And Chopper's off, brings out the double push. It's a kill for Zontic. Shoes going back and nearly lines up everybody, but it falls to Donk, and you've given him a shot. A small chance on low HP, but Tesses gets on that defuse, and Donk will not win this one. Tesses holds it all the way, realizing that that bomb is not planted for the post-plant position of Donk.
Yeah, that's the tough part. I mean, good hold from Tess's over in cave, just saying, okay, we've lost the bomb site. This is my position to hold on to. This is everything for the retake. Spirit had to gain ground somewhere. I think Donk wanted to challenge towards long through a smoke, but felt like he missed the timing on it, so backed away. It forced them and funneled them towards short. In that final battle, that final double kill is everything to give Tess's the free defuse. So timeout doesn't net Team Spirit a win. But with the plant and with the damage done, they buy right back up.
If Heroic win this, they will have weathered the storm of the early rounds here from Team Spirit. And they're going to try and go B.
They really must feel like this B bomb site is quite a weakness.
They're going through it anyway, charging into the attack. Dexter wanted to prove that it's not a weakness with kyxsan beside him. Eventually traded out. Dexter goes aggressive. One extra kill before being put in the ground. And so the bomb planted. And Team Spirit looking to close this one out. Difference is this time they've got that cave control. And Donk has got their AWP in his hands instead of the rifle. And while he's gone, Nurse just charges in. But that smoke, no way. It protects Zontix inside of the smoke. But Nurse seems to be alerted to that possibility. Zontix hides, not wanting to give his position away until he finally decides to strike. And good patience as Nurse was worried about that smoke. He takes a pause, he waits for the reaction, and he ends up winning the round here for Heroic.
Did Zontix see something, or did he just fire because of the crowd noise?
I guess it was the crowd noise.
It might have been the crowd noise.
The crowd noise definitely made the situation more tense.
Yeah, a little bit more tense. I think both players realized there was something weird going on. You could see Nerds kind of flicking over between the smoke and the entrance to cave, unsure of what was happening. So Team Spirit try and just constantly, repeatedly break down this B defense of Dexter and kyxsan, but they rise to the occasion with some help from Tess's over in cave earlier on. But still with the plant and 3 kills, Team Spirit buying right back up into this. AK-47, 2 Galils, 2 Tech-9s, not willing to give away this economic battle early on.
Oh, mid they go, and Donk eats a grenade. That'll leave a bruise, and everybody's blinded. It's awkward. It's real awkward in mid, but Donk is able to survive.
Another Molotov coming in. He won't survive that. It's just way too much. Crossover to Red Room doesn't matter because Tess's just pushes right on forward.
Yeah, I mean, for Team Spirit, it's been constant battle of buying and trying to barge their way into this B bomb site, but they've been stalled out again.
And the only thing that's making it possible is the fact that they're getting kills in these rounds even with the bomb plant. Is the fact that they're able to whittle down the CT side. But if they're not able to do it, they have to give up the fight eventually.
Zontix goes back into cave. Here's a peek from Tesses. That'll draw one of the kills back. It's still a very difficult round here for Team Spirit, but as the time ticks on and the positions that Team Spirit currently occupy, there is some strength in this post plan. Nerds is waiting patiently. Zontix wants revenge from the previous round fight, and he will get it against Nerds. Shiro holds on. It's just Shush with a hit on his back and a chance to take out Zontix. He knows he's got him pinned in the corner, and Shush has got that headshot. But there's no time for Shush. It was delayed long enough, and a 2v4 flipped back for a round victory for Spirit.
It pays off in the unlikeliest of rounds when you're down by 2 players. A very nice attempt at the retake, but a better hold from Spirit. Shiro delivers. And finally, they've broken through. Heroic, I think, have to force up here. No losing bonus as well, so they take a timeout because they know the investment that they have is not pretty in any way whatsoever. You neutralize Donk, you neutralize the mid-play, you handle everything early on, but still lose the round. That is crushing.
And for Team Spirit, the relentless efforts of buying and trying to get into these rounds over and over again, realizing that they didn't have the best purchases, they didn't always have everything they wanted. It looked like it wasn't going to work out. It looked like they were finally going to have to take the eco, have the reset of their economy, but they fought forward, and somehow, some way, Zontix and Shiro combined to pull this round back, and they have now put Heroic in a weird spot. A war of attrition. Team Spirit come out on top of it for the time being, but Heroic still got that AK for Shush. He was able to save that over. Nurse with the M4, 2 MP9s and a CZ. This is the buy that they have available to them going into round 8. Shush loves this more advanced position in A main. Is Chopper going to be aware of that? The answer to that is no. As Chopper goes down first, Team Spirit have to play a 4v5. At least they've got Donk out middle, and he hasn't been taken down low by utility. They just don't have those resources to put the pressure on Donk. But Tessa's got away with this in the last round as well.
Really haven't seen a whole lot of production out of this mid-presence from Spirit quite yet. It hasn't netted them any advantages either. Getting Donk out, this is the most aggressive he's been, the most push forward he's been, but look at the utility on the Spirit side. 2 smokes and a Molotov. And Nerds is going to start clearing things out. Timing.
Oh, how has he got away with that? Donk turns back, and finally taken out by the CZ, but that should have been a kill from Nerds. Donk is just so freakishly quick on the rotation back with his crosshair, and now Magix is pushed all the way deep into the back lines. kyxsan and Dexter looking to move forward. Smoke is still up. They slither through it into short, but Zontix wins the fight of Cave. And winning that fight has proven so important in these post plants as Magix sets up the distraction and Zontix runs away.
No kit.
Dexter's gonna smoke out the cave. Dexter with no kit. Limited time to win this. He taps it, he does not stick it, and Zontix isn't applying the pressure. But Dexter has to go to it again.
He's missed the opportunity.
He's lost it now. He can't win it any longer with no kit on his back, and Zontix not offering up the chance early enough into this round. Dexter will get the kill on the way out, but it's not the round victory.
That's another disadvantaged round from Team Spirit. Another round where Heroic handle most of the action early on and lose the B bomb site late. 5-on-4 here. You find Donk, I mean, the fact that he gets one there is mental. But still, it feels like they're in a decent enough position. Again, Cave, as you mentioned, the deciding factor in these late round post plants. Spirit once again with the plant. They're getting into these bomb sites, winning rounds.
Spirit's buys just tell you how competitive these rounds are and how much damage they're taking over and over again. They're winning the rounds, and they're still having to play with MAC-10s, Galils. They don't have enough money. Fortunately for them, if they limit their casualties in this kind of round, and the MAC-10s make some cash, well, they might start to stabilize. There isn't a whole lot to work with here for Heroic. A default pistol around the corner. No Kevlar. That MAC-10 will stride right through kyxsan, but Magix sustains a dink and still gets that kill on TeSeS.
The nice thing is with all the challenges that we saw Spirit go through early on, you mentioned how good of a team they are at sometimes blowing opponents out of the water, and they are a team that when they sense that weakness, when they sense an advantage, you can just see how convincing they are. Magix is just like, I'm strolling up with this MAC-10 going investigating. I know how you like to play this, jump spotting over at the stairs. I'll turn that corner on you so fast. And Nert's going to try and keep this M4 alive. And then now the question becomes, what's the buy going to look like in the next round for Heroic? Dexter only has $100, so the op won't be in play.
That's the problem when you get involved in these rounds as a CT side and you're buying and you're throwing everything you've got and you're going for forces and you're not coming out on top of the round wins. Your economy is going to break quicker than that of the T's.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit, I mean, you can say you like it or not, but finally they've headbutted that brick wall enough to break it down. I would imagine another timeout from Heroic, as this will be a really scattered buy across the board if they go for it.
A timeout required here for Heroic.
Dexter playing with 1,500.
That's your AWPer on the CT side, and as we've mentioned, he has been getting back to some of his better form. He's had some great impact rounds throughout this major so far. The Spirit are going to keep the AWP out of his hands for as long as possible now.
That was one of the positives they had in the early stages, in the early rounds of going to that B bomb site, is throwing so many bodies and creating so much chaos. Dexter, I mean, he could make some plays and get a kill here or there, but they were really preventing the multi-kill potential out of Dexter in those executes. 3-round lead, but a lovely opportunity to blow the scoreboard wide open if you're Team Spirit. UMP, MP9. They have found a way to scrape together 3 M4s.
A UMP, don't see a lot of those, but TeSeS has got it out. And Donk, aggressive into the corner. Nerds coming to find him, and Donk able to get away with one. Zontix has the second, and so the aggressive play from Heroic is instantly neutralized, and Team Spirit have mid-control and 2 opening kills.
Which is horrifying, because Heroic have done overall a good job of not taking a lot of damage from that position. This time they can't hold it back. And his smoke toward lane means access to the A bomb site through CT spawn is there. And Heroic no longer have information of whether it's being utilized, which puts pressure on Dexter and Donut.
TeSeS is about to get cleared out, but that UMP still stands strong. And here comes Team Spirit into the B bomb site. Utility goes out towards short. kyxsan will take his peek at long, and that rifle, it's worked out. Suddenly the numbers are even. And Shiro making sure that that's just short-lived fact as he takes TeSeS and removes him from the server. And this flank from Donk was always coming. kyxsan was preoccupied with the players in the B bomb site, and Donk just takes him out. He swung back into red to try and get Dexter, but losing his life, but gathering info.
And Dexter can't go for this. I mean, you can, but you have no kit. You only have an HE grenade. AK-47 is going to be prioritized as he backs off. And Team Spirit have just taken complete control of this T-side Ancient. Donk 12-7, Zontix 11-6. That pairing has long been the engine of Spirit's Ancient on both sides of the map. The mid control on T side and the mid defense on the CT side.
And I think it's even more scary on the defense as well. It feels like they overtake the server more often on the CT side than they do on the T side. So that's something Heroic are going to have to deal with going into the second half. And the more rounds you give them in this first half of play, the easier it will be in the end for Team Spirit to close it out. And right now for Heroic, another situation where there's not a whole lot of money available to the CTs. So an 8th round win is the most likely outcome of round 11.
Heroic's path here was a best-of-1 win over Big and FaZe. Series lost to Mongols. That qualified the Mongols through to the playoffs.
What a great game that was.
For Spirit, it's been 3 best-of-1s. Took that devastating loss to Fury on day 1. A win over Wildcard and Na'Vi. To give themselves a chance to qualify today for the playoffs. Winner goes through.
Team Spirit have lost the opening kill. It is Magix that has gone down first.
Ooh.
Swinging to the bottom of the ramp, and Dexter's AK. Well, that save might just work out nicely. As Shiro is gone, Heroic have a 2-player advantage, and it's not slowing down. Dexter with another one off the top of the ramp.
And now you can just play it passively. No need to go for any more of those aggressive peaks. Don't give anything back. Really safe jiggle from kyxsan, and there's the flank coming in exactly. You've got the manpower, the ability to close out the map, and Heroic show a little bit of fight in a tough round. Dexter provides them a miracle. 4-7. In a round they only bring a single AK-47 into from the previous. Dexter steps up to the plate.
Heroic win a round, and Team Spirit take a timeout. Halley is not going to be happy about the fact that they lost that, but looking to get them back on track for this final round of the first half.
Well, Dexter played his best map in a Heroic jersey just yesterday against the Mongols. 25-10 on Mirage in the opening map victory, going on to lose that series. But that's a great thing to build up some confidence for someone who's, from the outside, looked like he struggled to find his game within this Heroic lineup.
Yes, well, he had such a long hiatus outside of competition, right? We hadn't seen him play in CS2. He comes into this Heroic team, and they're having to waste events. They're having to burn tournaments, bring back their former opera for a tournament, bring in their coach to play because Dexter just couldn't go there because of visa issues. Well, if he's able to put in a big shift at a major, it'll prove that all of that time waiting, all of those events that you burned by not having him there was worth it.
Has worked out. Well, Spirit is going to be no stranger to a busted low buy. However, they got to deal with Tessis getting aggressive.
Magic's the first death again. This time in the hands of Tessis. kyxsan swings and they line up. And so a 5th round queued up. And Heroic have done a very good job at weathering the storm of Team Spirit. There were multiple chances throughout this first half where Team Spirit could have grabbed control, but it's not to be the case. And sometimes Shiro can fight against the odds. It's 2 kills that come in through those B doors and a better situation than they would have predicted. So Team Spirit have over a minute left. They've got the bomb in their possession, but still a very difficult round ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. This would be a 2v5 recovered by Zontix and Shiro, and unfortunately Zontix not able to pick up any of the rifles that have hit the deck over towards the B bomb site. Been a huge lean on that side of the map throughout this entire half from Team Spirit, so Heroic at the end of the day is like, all right, we'll chuck down our utility, we'll get aggressive, we'll try and bottleneck you, and it succeeds. But there's a long time for Shiro and Zontix to play with, and they've worked themselves to the other side of the map. And it looks like Heroic is content to just kind of stay and control B lane. If you get these guys into the A bomb site with the plant, you give Shiro those lines of sight, that AWP can punish you.
How far does Nurse want to go with this? He's gone all the way behind them.
Yeah, he's found the winning play. This is perfect from
This
Nerds.
is so sick from Nerds. Great timing. There's no way they're going to be expecting the CT play so quickly to A main. They're going to be worried. They're going to be focused on CT. They're going to be worried about Donut. But it's Nerds from A main that proves to be the pivotal player. Zontix will deal with him, but the rest of the cavalry arrives and a 5th round secured at the end of the first half here for Heroic.
Really sick sense of timing for Nerds to make that play, but you got to give credit over to Dexter to be the one to recover this half. This was looking like Spirit might blow it up into a 9-3 lead. Dexter's AK-47 saved into 3 kills on a desperate round. Salvaged the half for Heroic. They're within 2 as we switch sides. But as we alluded to, now you got to deal with Donk and Zontix on the CT side down middle. And we see plenty of games where Donk just goes hunting. This is one of those maps where he just becomes an animal. Going to be in middle, pushing down, clearing elbow, going to be jumping up, harassing B lane constantly. Loves those fights.
And you can know he's going to do it, and you can prepare a game plan to deal with it. But
stopping it's a whole different beast.
Yeah, when you actually get into the server, I'd imagine it's a very different story. Making the most of their 1-minute halftime break. The crowd in Shanghai packed out for this qualification game, this progression game into the playoffs. Another matchup currently going on as well over on the B stream. Furiat versus Pain, a Brazilian battle going on there. That's a game with ramifications of an exit, elimination, 1 and 2 game.
(3-2) split towards the A bomb site. 3 defenders here. 4 if you want to count Chopper up in red room. Zontix jumping spots. I don't know if he spotted the bomb, but he got at least a glimpse of 1 player. And Heroic might just choose to slow this down a little bit, but it doesn't look like they're dissuaded from moving forward.
Now Chopper's the player with a kid. He's currently at red room.
Most of the focus is on the A main attack as well for the defenders, so if they stop the bomb from going through, it's a big issue.
Grenade goes into the back. It's going to be kyxsan with the first kill, but Magic's laying down the law with his Joe Berettas and keeping the bomb pinned in A main, which means they need to be more successful on their mid push. And Magic's is just killing everything with a Joe Berettas. It's his 3rd kill of this pistol round, but his teammates are going down. Chopper finally getting involved. Dexter to hit the deck, and Nertz asked to clutch. Can he win this one in a 1v2? Nertz at CT, not finding a peak, not finding a mistake from Chopper as he stays disciplined. He plants his feet and he hides around that box, so Nertz has to go for the fight. And now it's just Magic's on the other side, and damage done. Nertz has dropped him to 3 HP, and Magic's has done everything you could ask of him in this pistol round, but you just need a little bit more of your Spirit. And Magic's, it's going to be difficult to provide. He's got the info that Nertz is still at default, and what a shot from Boris! That looked unthinkable that he would win that when his HP goes low, but Nertz cannot handle the heat.
That's a filthy shot from Magic's. Handles everything so well. The push into A main to stop kyxsan. Responding, turning back to help the donut defense. But to win a clutch with 3 HP on the Gush, Nertz plays this so perfectly. They pass through the smoke, takes out Chopper, who's being passive in the site, gives himself some room to work with.
Bang!
But that's an unreal shot.
With the Julies at range, Magic's pushes Team Spirit up to 8 rounds, and Heroic buying back. The Tech-9s are out, and back to A they go. We know kyxsan can be a stubborn caller towards this A bomb site, and Zontix, with a fire laid down at their feet, he manages 1 kill on the MP9 and allows Donk to try and deal with the rest. Although the problem is for Donk, yeah, he just goes back. He just, all right, I'm just going to come and kill Nertz now as well. He gets the dink off, but not the kill. Shush actually managed to get in behind him, and so a bomb plant is secured here for Heroic. Can they actually pull this off on low HP? Oh, that's certainly going to help. Shush through the CT smoke, annihilates Magic's. And Shiro also took a dink on board right at the end. But this play from Shush, the wraparound, is such an intelligent play, but he misses. Oh no, Shush. You have to land those ones. And Team Spirit get away with one.
It was always going to be a tough affair, even if he gets that kill. Low on HP. A hard-fought round, and Heroic almost pull it off.
I love how casually Donk just stands in Donut. He just goes back, yeah, I'll get one kill on this A main push and come back and gets a dink off on Nerds.
I wonder if he was frustrated at all that Chopper wasn't coming through the smoke. You can understand Chopper playing for the win, realize if he comes through the smoke and gets taken down by the Tech 9 and then Donk goes down after that fact, it's an even bigger problem. I almost feel like Chopper played that well, but Donk was harassed from 2 different positions and might be like, come on, come through the smoke, help me out, take some pressure off me. But still winning it out in the end. However, massive damage done to the economy. Down to MP9s on Chopper and Magix. These rounds are so close.
Here comes Chopper. Down to the bottom of the B ramp. That smoke will fade away. Here comes the utility over the top. And Chopper, he's got one in that MP9. And now the waves of heroic players crash against the B bomb site. Magix and Nerds blow for blow. 3v3 established and heroic into the bomb site.
It's all right, job done. You've made this a much easier job at the retake. Molotovs to delay the plant from coming down. Nerds is still out in the open. Got to cross into the bomb site while the smokes are up. And now the 3 M4s can be put into play.
There's no flash left for Team Spirit.
There's a smoke for Cave.
They do have a smoke.
That nade would have been a kill if it made it all the way through.
But it didn't, so it remains a 3v3. The first fight on B ramp, no one comes out worse for wear. kyxsan gets to maintain his position. And Team Spirit starts to move forward. Their Legions attack. And Shiro and Zontix followed up by the finishing kill with Donk. They pull off the retake. They get double figures.
It was the only thing that could be done by Heroic. The double swing coming out of Cave, it was always going to be desperate. But with those M4s just kind of keeping you blocked in the bomb site, that smoke being up, they knew there was a timing in which they had to make a play. And Spirit patient for it with the retake. And a timeout, third used by Heroic. MP9's going 1 for 1 is just enough for Spirit to close out the round. Good swing from Donk after all is said and done. kyxsan starting to consider trying to pick one off as they progress into the bomb site, and Donk just never lets it happen. 10-5.
Ancient has been good to Heroic. It's a map that they've been willing to play. They've got a win versus FaZe on earlier on. You know, this is a map that they will wish they could fight against Spirit on, but being 10-5 down, starting to run out of opportunities. And this buy matters so much. And kyxsan just charges right through Jag. He'll win the fight against Chopper. The in-game leader, Jewel, goes down, and it's now in favor of Heroic for at least the next few seconds.
How does Spirit want to play this? Magix and Zontix. Retake style towards long and short. Plenty of utility for Heroic to block off these choke points and get into the site, but Zontix at least wants a challenge early if it's going to come. There's the long smoke. Short coming in as well. Cave going to be blocked off, but I mean, you don't have any way of getting into this fight. Maybe activated by a flash?
They just blew the smoke. So they're just going to leap out. So Zontix is waited behind that smoke and gets a kill on the spam, but traded back by Shush immediately. Plant being secure right now for Heroic, and they will maintain that player advantage. Now Team Spirit have been able to get their way back into these retakes, but they've been even number situations. Now they've got to go in a 2v4, and Shush is not letting that happen. He silences Magix and Donk, and Tesses moves forward to remove Shiro.
Good job by Heroic. I mean, Shush gets 3 kills, but I give all the credit in the world over to kyxsan. The fast, aggressive play in towards Jaguar and Cave, taking that kind of map control, keeping pressure on the B defenders throughout the round. He has such good positioning that allows his team to follow up based off that space he's taken. And finally, first round on the board in this second half for Heroic, putting a stop to the run and putting the economy in a weird place. M4 on Donk. 2 5.7s, 2 MP9s. Spirit gonna have to have a grimy round if they want to win it out here.
Well, Nerds climbing up and catching Magix, trying to sprint on down the B lane. So once again, it's an opening kill here for Heroic. And Team Spirit could really use every advantage they can get in this kind of round. And so Chopper with his 5-7 stands strong. Shiro was in behind him, and it proves too much for Dexter to handle. So a 3v3, not a bad outcome at all here for Team Spirit.
Very committed Heroic to swinging on that ramp and taking control. Some wild sprays trying to predict the positioning of those 5-7s. A beautiful trade in the favor of the defense. But Donk, he's going to be quick to react.
And Shiro sits at short. He's just up to the left side, and here comes kyxsan swinging out of the cave. A big kill on Donk, but Shiro, he's the silent one. He's the silent but deadly killer. He's got himself one in that 5-7, and that's not going to be enough to feel comfortable. So Zontix is coming back over here, but it's really unlikely to see him even get into a competitive position.
A couple potential miscommunications from Team Spirit. We saw Magix kind of swing out cave without, I guess maybe without understanding that the jump up was available, that mid wasn't truly being watched. Donk was smoked off. Maybe that comm didn't make it all the way across to Magix. And now it looked like Donk, maybe a little bit of karma coming back to him, trying to cross over while looking at Red Room. Didn't realize Shiro didn't have eyes on the exit from short. A pair of free kills in this round that otherwise would have been very dangerous, but Heroic will take it, because now they've broken the money of the CT side.
Well, we spoke about it a few times. I mean, in the first half, we were saying once they switch to the CT side, Donk is going to be a menace to deal with. You're going to have to deal with him climbing up, getting disrupted. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't been able to see it yet because Team Spirit haven't had everything they want. They haven't had the full buy with all the utility, all the bells and whistles. That'll come in the next round, but we're looking at a scoreline of 10-8 before that happens. So Heroic have played themselves right back into this game.
And this is what I mean. I haven't always felt the most confidence in Heroic, but you can't argue with these results with the way they're fighting back into this game. Tesses waiting for the push in conjunction with kyxsan, and they delete everyone.
A lot of firepower available for Heroic, and in this round, no resistance from Team Spirit. So they only lose Dexter. Fantastic work in terms of building the money up now for the T side. They've got a couple of buys left in them, even if they lose this. But here comes the purchase for Team Spirit, and it's one where they finally get the off out for Shiro, and everybody has a rifle bar Chopper, who will take the hit to an SMG so that he can afford more utility.
Which is fine playing over at the B bomb site as well, especially if he wants to get aggressive at any point down that B ramp. Again, we've seen him go 1 for 1 on that and gather a lot of information for his team. Let's see how they decide to play middle. Because you're right, we haven't seen Donk jump up yet. We haven't seen anyone challenge the B lane from the jump up. This time there's the deep Molotovs. Instant smoke missed. And coming right through the Molotov is Zontix. That had to have surprised Nerds.
I wonder if Nerds got the info. He might have spotted Donk climbing up there as well.
I wonder if it's an intentional missed smoke to activate that play. Again, might be giving players a little too much credit.
But I like the theory crafting.
I mean, I can't imagine another reason why Zontix would run through its own Molotov.
True. They now know that Donk is, of course, committed towards ledge, but none of the fights have really gone the way you would have hoped for, so they're going to maintain this 5v4, concerning the fact that Chopper and Zontix are both low.
And yeah, you're concerned about that mid-aggression, but Donk has fallen back. He showed you a little bit of leg, a little bit of presence, and then snuck back to supplement the B defense. Chopper going to set him up for a boost over in cave. Shiro going to keep track of the mid plays. Zontix has been given the op deep in CT spawn for the A bomb site.
A lot of damage to Chopper, but he'll survive on 1 HP and take kyxsan to the grave. 40 seconds remaining in this round as Heroic start to move through mid. Their last-ditch effort plays towards this A bomb site. And it's Shiro who has been patient, who has been waiting for this moment. Zontix has got his op in hand, and Tess has to fall. Shiro peeked into the open and gets punished from Dexter back donut with that op. The rotations are here for Team Spirit. The reinforcements have arrived, and it's Donk to deliver 2.
And good flashes, good round from Zontix overall. The kill on Nerds at the start, the op kill towards Donut, and then supportive flashes for Donk to get activated around those smokes. Actually worked for the benefit to give Donk the route to run, this safety to take that angle, and shutting down Shush as the final Heroic player. But as you mentioned, money was built up, so another full buy for Heroic.
Donk this time starts a donut instead of a climb up, and Zontix smoke blasted away at red, and Donk only able to get 1. So the initial fights go the way of Heroic, and now they can accelerate in towards Shiro, who went to the back of the big box. It's one good kill on Tesses, but his scope now waits at Donut, and he took a step too far into the open, and he can't land the shot on Nerds.
Yeah, who can now drop back safely to watch Donut cover the smoke. kyxsan going to come in for a plant. Chomper trying to recover the round initially. Magix is on a very long flank all the way around towards A main. But Chopper's got to at least stay alive, and he's got to get close to be able to react.
How do you get past this? How do you get past Dexter's scope? And the answer to that is you don't. So Magix can't do anything about this. He's back at spawn, just saving onto the M4.
I think it's another, not miscommunication, but mistiming of that smoke being blown open. Donk throws the flashbang and kind of jiggles it. Then the smoke is broken for the Zontix fight. Donk comes in a couple seconds later for the trade, but it's an easy trade in return for Heroic. So not as much synergy as we're used to seeing, and Heroic maybe have done a good job of keeping that defense from catching any kind of momentum. Haven't been feeding them any easy timings. 2-round deficit for Heroic, 9-11. And money once again an issue for Spirit's defensive side. M4 passed over to Donk, and that's the only motivation they need to invest into this. But a very important round. Heroic win this. They can tie things up at 11-11.
On the final timeout for Team Spirit in regulation. Heroic have burned all of theirs, and now Team Spirit will follow suit.
Heroic coming in as the 7th ranked team. Spirit at the number 4. A very close affair. These rounds brawly and close.
And main aggression here from Team Spirit. Shiro a part of it. The control taken from Heroic. They don't really have the resources to challenge for it for Team Spirit. That's why Donk is playing more passive behind the red smoke, and it'll become a late game piece. This cave fight. It's going to work out for Chopper on the one, but Tesses to get the trade in Jag. And he wants to apply pressure towards Magix.
Nice little tricky defense as well. It's Magix with utility taking the attention to allow Chopper with the MP9 to once again just go 1-for-1 with the SMG.
Zontix waited the whole time. Shush was on the other side that entire round, but then Zontix decides to go, catches a really important kill here for Team Spirit.
Zontix is having a great game. For as much criticism as he's been catching recently, this is a wonderful performance. Nert's going to try and pick up the pieces, but Shiro lies in wait, and he might actually push this on a timing now that he hears the footsteps go silent.
And as soon as they'll hear a B presence, that'll perhaps be the case, but Heroic starts to move in. Fire to clear the cubby.
Nerds might have lured them to just shift a little bit.
Donk is still over here. He's been waiting all round long to finally get involved, but he can't do much about the plant. And so it'll come down to a retake again for Team Spirit, one that they have one flashing. They've got a kid on the back of Magix, and Shiro's on the flank. Magix hits a big shot on Dexter. With him going down, the chances of Heroic holding on to this are 0. Finished off by Shiro, and we are looking at map point now for Team Spirit.
Dexter slides into the bomb site. He had that position on ramp to look towards short, but he swaps positions with Tess's and puts the AWP in a situation where it has to swing left to that short fight and completely destroyed. 12-9. Spirit's gamble on the force buy in that round pays off. 3 opportunities to close out the map, and now they've got money behind him. They've had such a labored time getting the economy on both sides of the map, really. Even the first half was a crazy amount of force buys, Galils, Tech 9s being picked up. It feels like their economy's never been comfortable, but still able to gather rounds. on this march to a map 1 victory. Team Spirit's pick of Ancient. Looking good for a win here.
A boost being constructed. This is a good round to pull it out in. They're going to send Dicer up on top, and that is beautiful. Perfect construction here for Heroic. It gets them that opening pick. Nertz is going to move through the red room. And they know they've taken down one of the B defenders. Where does Nertz want to go with this one? Around the back.
I feel like Nertz has found some really good positions in middle. Where we talked about the defense in mid so much, Nertz has been a champion.
Surely. He's able to make something happen here. He actually goes to the short smoke. Donk is checking that flank now on a timing, but Nertz has got by his crosshair. Nertz is going to start giving it away. He is at short. That deeper smoke will sever off Donk's teammates. Chopper coming through from the cave to the kill. It's actually Donk to pick that one up, but the kyxsan trade is immediate. It is swift. And a 3v3 as Team Spirit look to close this map out. They've got to do it in a retake fashion again, and they're held behind so much utility right now.
You might want to save this.
It does feel like they're going to be forced into that decision because they just weren't close enough. And through the spam, Nertz gets Zontix right at the end.
Couldn't find any comfortable fights. Really concerned about the mid lurk from Nertz. Took the A players a long time to rotate over. And Donk was never in a position to help them cross. kyxsan putting together a great round there to keep Heroic fighting back. 2 rounds away now. And this boost to bring it out at this moment is everything. A nice easy pick, an extended trade with the MAC-10s, but then Nertz controls the map.
Money is about to shatter for Spirit too. So if Heroic win this round, they do set themselves up with a great chance. For 11, it's the quick donut smoke being thrown out. Heroic want to go with some speed into this A bomb side, and Chopper cannot handle the pace. He's gone. Donk trying to sprint back over to the donut in time, but it's panic stations for Spirit.
Nertz has to cross with the bomb though, so they need to force Shiro off the angle, which they will with Molotovs. Good kill onto Zontix, and once again, a situation where Spirit, I think you have to back away. That kill might keep you around a little bit longer. And look at kyxsan. He's going to go for a late flank through Donut. So now it becomes a stall tactic for Heroic to hold back the retake so this play can come in.
Donk only has 7 bullets left. He hits the immediate dank, but without the kill, there's no chance.
kyxsan's
and Team Spirit drop away, but yeah, this could be a big problem because we talked about the money. We know they won't have much left, and if you lose your op, if you lose this M4, Heroic will increase their chances of overtime drastically, and kyxsan knows that. So he moves into position, and Shiro is up first. There's no way he's got this. kyxsan gets the headshot, and Just Magic's now left alone. kyxsan will not be able to drop him. He will blast his own teammate away with a grenade. And Magic's trying to get to the AWP, but does not want to take the risk moving into the open. So we'll settle for the AK-47, but regardless, the money is broken here for Spirit. There's not enough to get a full buy.
And there's no timeouts remaining on either team, so they just got to do this on the fly. They got to do it in the chaos and pressure of the moment. What a great hunt from kyxsan. Gonna wrap around through Donut until that kill comes out, and then realizes I have the perfect opportunity. I know they're gonna fall all the way back to the B bomb site. 2 rounds in a row for Heroic, 1 more to force overtime. M4 on Shiro, AK on Donk, light on nades.
And Nertz sprinting out of the elbow into middle. Establishing control early. And this is all possible because of the round where Heroic construct the triple boost and set them up with a chance a couple of rounds ago. They literally build themselves into the game.
Yeah, brings a great time to throw a little bit of cheese into the game. Dexter's been the hero in that regard a couple of times. The AK-47 triple kill in the first half. Now that boost finding them an opening kill. Shiro and Zontix to defend the A bomb site, and they're going to get a lot of love.
Nertz is beyond that smoke, and Shiro is beyond saving, and so are Team Spirit in this. They have to attempt it. They have to go in for this 3v5 retake, but it is not going to happen for them.
Nertz has been so excellent in this T-half. Most of the impact that he's had is due to controlling the middle of the map, but now he busts out the brute force, a double entry. And I think that Spirit sunk. I think that's overtime. You have nothing to activate this retake, and you have no kits.
Little gap, and the shot will land on Chopper. Every step is a heroic runway towards overtime. And they had to stay in this. They had to come back from a large deficit. It looked like Spear were getting to the end. It looked like they were about to end this first map, send us into Mirage. But some great calls and some great team play, and Heroic have forced us into the bonus rounds.
That's so impressive from Heroic. I cannot even understate or overstate how impressive it is. What a great 3-round comeback. Beautiful calling from kyxsan.
kyxsan always has a great feel for when to call the fast A play. It's something that Heroic have in their back pocket, and it's so effective.
Well, it's been beautiful to see at this major, considering the conversation around this team while they struggled to make this lineup work. The changes, the sweeping changes they had to make after the departure of Stown and Yabi. You have so many questions. You're like, can Saw as a coach come in and replicate what he did at ENCE and build this team up? Can kyxsan as an IGL, inexperienced in Tier 1 Counter-Strike, a lot of potential, a lot of positive words, but not seeing a lot of it early on. Yeah. And now you're seeing all that come to fruition. That coach IGL combo with some of the calls and T-sides they've had at this major have been very impressive.
Yeah, for kyxsan, they also proved that that run in Paris with Apex was not a fluke. There is something to be said about his in-game leadership when given time to build a system.
And he's fragging. 20 kills to lead the way for Heroic.
A lot of conversation right now about who is the best fragging in-game leader. I think you've got to throw kyxsan into that conversation at times.
I might have thrust himself in with this major. Maybe not before it, but certainly at this point, yeah.
Money not a problem for Spirit coming into this round, at least of overtime. So they'll have the nades to try and slow down this mid-take. You've got to say a lot of storylines around Zontix and Doc's dominance in mid, but for a lot of it, it was Nertz. A dink onto Nertz as Doc goes back to finish off the kill. Zontix is with him. And for at least the first round in OT, it is Spirit that come out on top of the mid-fight, and now likely the round win, but kyxsan catches Chopper. Trade was important from Shiro, and we leave Shush with no ball on his back in a 1v3.
Part of me thinks maybe Heroic's been able to take advantage of this defense because we haven't seen that mid-dominance from the Team Spirit CT side, and you can attribute that to whatever you want. You can attribute it to low economy, not able to have the resources at all points, but really we haven't seen Heroic harass from the jump up nearly as often as we see Donk and Spirit do against other opponents. The game plan from Heroic of getting Nertz out, tons of utility being spent to get him out safely, it was enjoyable. It was good to see Donk and Zontix just say, you know what, no matter how many times you get blind, how many times you get naded, we're going to fight for this. We're going to challenge it every step of the way. Shush gets the first kill in an attempted 1v3. And Magix and Shiro will play this without information of where he's dedicated himself to. Jump up towards the B bomb site. 20 seconds. Shush is going to have to start running soon.
He's going to need somewhat of a sprint finish into the B-bomb site here. And it is doable for Shush as he leaps into the site to plants in, but Shiro hunts him down. He realizes he hung around long enough. He knows that he has to commit to the plant. There's no risk of him faking it, and if he had, it would have been a victory regardless. So Spirit, 13-12, back into the lead, and actually had the resources to fight for mid this time.
Timeout taken, and each team gets an extra one in overtime. Used all of them in regulation. Three straight rounds for Heroic to force overtime. Team Spirit couldn't win any of them, and then they win the very first round of OT. It's a classic.
Yeah, it's just you get the extra money, extra a few pieces of utility Makes a big difference for the defensive spirit. Shiro's going to have the op still. And here comes the mid-fight. The challenge is kyxsan's already out. Important that Donk was able to trade it, but they're not slowing down. Nertz is out next.
And importantly, you deny the mid-control from the CT side. Now you don't have Donk as that pivot point for the defense. Tess is going to work his way into its Jaguar. Can't win the fight against Chopper. Ducks under the bullets. And a man advantage for Spirit.
It really looked like Tessus was going to win that. Priming himself to remove Chopper. But Heroic with the final 3 as they move in towards A main. The rotation for Donk is coming back over to the temple. And now Heroic better pray. Better pray that they can deal with Donk.
Chopper's being delayed, worried about the mid presence.
As he goes into the open, the low HP is a problem here for Donk. Could be dropped quite quickly. He's going to toss out the utility and try and slow things down, but fire goes a little too deep, and so Donk actually can slip out. And he had a distraction set up. They thought they dealt with him with the nades, but Donk gets away with it, and he hops right back into the temple, which is causing a lot of confusion here for Heroic. It's a fake plan for Shoes, trying to draw that peek into the open, but it's not coming. Team Spirit are disciplined, as they know they have the significant advantage in numbers, and they don't want to throw that away.
Smoke just clearing, so finally Dexter can be involved in the defense of this plant.
Another fake plant, but Chopper moves and realizes it's not the commitment. And time is starting to drain. Now the swing comes in. Now the play forward is here. And eventually there's just too many players to deal with as Team Spirit put a second round in a row together here on the CT side.
Yeah, really well done from Team Spirit in the post plant. Or the attempted post plant. Good patience. Donk with low HP, so efficient. Playing temple. The Molotov goes a little bit too deep, which allows him to play on with very low health. I don't think Nertz expected that swing. 2 rounds straight in OT for Team Spirit. Money issues have gone away and they're back to a very strong defense.
Oh, Shiro putting a scope into the cave, sees the shadow. Tess primes himself, but unable to take the shot in the first go. He lands it this time, and Tessus is somehow still standing. His teammates fighting on, but Shiro eventually getting that kill. And it's so important that he gets that pick because it keeps Team Spirit in with a shot at this. Utility goes in, and Shiro locked in the cave. So it comes down to the 2 players rotating in. One of them Donk, one of them Zontix. And Shiro's still alive. That'll be something in the back of the heads here of Heroic. They do not have the cave control, and Donk goes into the open. Dexter gone. Is there another kill offered up here for Donk? A second headshot. Zontix dealt with, but it's information as Donk looked to the ramp. But it's Shiro and Donk together, the 2 heaviest hitters of Spirit, to try and grab match point, but Donk unable to turn. He was so close to an unthinkable play, but Heroic was stand at the very end.
Look how hard they had to work for that round. Even with the 2 openings in the B bomb site, even understanding Shiro's trapped in cave, it took every single player of Heroic to hold off the retake. Donk almost makes it work. So 2-1 as they switch sides in overtime. Cracking in, but then Donk with the Molotov, knowing he can't be behind the site. Just look at how precise he is coming in.
Yeah, he gives you a chance in these kind of situations where you think all is lost. He even turned back to that.
Yeah, maybe 1-2 bullets on kyxsan at the end of the day. Almost a beautiful sequence for one of the world's best. 14-13. Dexter has his op out on the CT side. Team Spirit, again, much like their CT side, their T side was plagued by economic issues that all disappear once we get to overtime. Very few rounds in which they're able to wield 5 AK-47s. Let's see if that changes things.
Donk out of elbow into the fight, but the flash caught him. He still gets the double kill. Sits them on their asses, and Donk has got the mid-control that Team Spirit desire.
Oh, that smoke took an awkward bounce. So going to plume at the base of the stairs. Tess is going to try and recover the situation, but Magix is well aware of the possibility. Gets the information. There's the swing from the jump up. 2 for 1. And kyxsan has to back away. And ground has been gained by Chopper.
And he goes back into the cave. kyxsan, oh, is he going to be aware of this? He got his gun out, but was still marching forward.
Just such good awareness as that fight is extended down the B ramp of saying, all right, I'll keep moving forward. No one here to stop me.
And that point for Team Spirit. Heroic have got to do it again. They've got to find a way back into the game once more. The remaining rounds of overtime all need to be picked up here for Heroic just to get another overtime secured.
They rattled off 3 in regulation to make overtime. They got to rattle off 2 in a row to force double overtime.
Dexter at least holding on to the AWP for the time being. And he will be allowed it into the next. Perfection required from here on in for Heroic. It took a lot to even get into overtime, as you mentioned. Once again against the ropes.
Magic's keeping the 1 M4 on the T side. There's 3 players on Heroic without a helmet, so that M4 can be brutally deadly.
Shush goes back to a common position that he held throughout regulation, pushing him towards A main. He has got Dexter holding the deep angle with the AWP as well, so Shush can just focus on what's right in front of him. And Spirit are coming into their trap. Shush ready to go. A great dink onto the second player, a kill on the first. Donk down to 11 HP. Now Dexter waits and strikes the chest of Shiro, but into the open. His repeak is punished.
Donk picked up that op so quickly for the rebuttal. But with no HP, he can't really apply a whole lot more pressure through A main. We descend into a 3v3, and Magix is like, you're shifting to the A-bomb site. I've got room to work with.
And it's those 3 players that are helmets that you mentioned alive right now. Nert's aggression. Shot goes through the legs, and Donk is going to be frustrated about that one. Now has to sit back and watch as Magix and Chopper try to close this map out. And no chance on kyxsan, so it's all Chopper. And he's not really in a position to win this round.
That's the fight Magix wanted against an unhelmeted opponent as well with the M4. Couldn't land the headshot, the clean kill. 30 seconds. Chopper's going to go for it because who cares about money at this point? Only 1 round remaining. Should be impossible. Tess's will peek off kyxsan's contact. And it's not even needed.
One more round, and we go again. Team Spirit going to take the timeout. I love the A setup on the CT side from Heroic. Shush getting aggressive, taking in position in towards A main. The fact he gets a dink out on Donk as well.
Yeah, that part's brutal. And even Donk reading the follow-up push, almost able to connect that op shot.
Yeah, went straight through the legs, through the wickets.
But again, Heroic just constantly staying in this game. Down 3-7 with a hero AK-47. Dexter provides a triple kill that allows you to bounce back in the first half. Spirit having 3 chances to eliminate you at the end of regulation, responding to that challenge. And now putting yourself in a position to force double overtime.
Donk heads out elbow. Didn't spot Tess is actually charging down B lane out of cave, so that's information they can quickly pass over to his teammates to be on high alert about. So Magix will be the one to deal with that. But Donk is going to go. Donk is going to go through the smoke at Donut. He waits. Chopper comes through with him, and Nerds, good night. There is no way you predict that play. It is huge from Team Spirit, and it might be the opening move that closes out this map. Shush dies at default, and it is all wrapped up now. Team Spirit are going to have to fend off a 3v5 retake, but it is looking so good for them. And with that kill back from Tesses, the dream once again reopens. Magix is on a long flank. He's a long way away from his teammates who are holding down this A bomb site. And Magix begins to creep around the back. Donk actively looking around the CT smoke. It'll start to fade away soon, and here goes Heroic, but Magix has arrived, but they turn. kyxsan checks it. Now he goes into the fight at CT, but Donk to step up, and they put a stop to this opening map. Spirit finally break through Heroic on Ancient, and they are one map win away from the playoffs in Shanghai.
Spirit fans get a bit nervous there with that last round, but it's all good. They have won on Ancient, one map away from
Overtime loss. It's going to sting to a certain extent, but you played them close enough. You definitely had shots to take it.
I was going to say, this might be a little bit pedantic. I don't even know if bounce back is the correct term. I think if you're Heroic, you leave the map and you're like, see guys, like we can compete with them. We can come back from, we're not going to get buried by them. Individually, Nerds with some good rounds. kyxsan played obviously an incredible game as an individual, called a great game to keep them in the map on the T side to force overtime. So I think between maps, if you're Heroic, you're like, guys, this is the exact matchup we thought it was. We're playing them close. We're right there. Couple more things go our way. We've got to win on that first map. So let's carry it forward into Mirage, into the second map. The same energy, same focus, same drive to even this up and force Dust2, where Spirit has shown weakness.
Heroic's map pick of Mirage is underway. They start on the T side, and the bomb is going to be making its way towards B quite quickly. Just the steps and the pause as Magix peeks into the open. He was the god of the dual Berettas over on Ancient in the pistol rounds. The slow slide of forces out of ramp gets detected by Shiro as he looks towards Shush. And Shiro's going to drop back in towards CT spawn.
Kind of surprised there's no pounce from Tesses off that kill. He was looking over towards stairs trying to cover for that sort of a peek. Now good ground gained in middle by Dexter. Good damage on a chopper as Heroic readjusts through the underpass towards Khan. Spirit starting to put this together. Defensive outside of the window room. One player at ticket, one player at catwalk. They've got all the choke points covered. And they've got a 5-on-4.
Donk has just spotted kyxsan heading in towards connector. It's great information here for Donk, and he's going to snap straight away. Second hot headshot to the window, and Nerd's gone. Donk dives down, and kyxsan realizes a sprint to the site is needed to get this bomb planted, and Donk is coming through connector. His teammate distracting from CT, and Shiro coming through with those Julies. Nice swing, what? 3 kills for kyxsan, nearly gets back to connector again. He is having a heater of a game individually, but there was just so much work needed, and kyxsan couldn't do it all.
Yeah, he came in ready to rock and roll today. Exactly, a little bit more production from anyone else, and maybe he has an opportunity.
Dude, these shots are crazy.
Yeah, and maybe the retake, if it's less overwhelming, he's got a chance to get into some cover, but that's a really cool sequence. But also recognizing the need in a 2v5 to at least get the bomb plant, to at least get it down for the bonus money. They can go for a buy if they want to. And it looks like they will. kyxsan can afford AK-47 and armor, so a powerful weapon brought out for him. Its utility, as always, the problem in these second round buys.
The first half of Ancient was littered with economic problems for both teams. Got into this war of attrition when it came to the money, and you didn't really see a whole lot of really solid buy rounds.
I feel like the Spirit never really was all that interested in saving in that first map.
No, just kept buying, just gun in their hands every time. If you can get a rifle in Donk's hands,
which was
it's always
cool.
a shot.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, true. Although kyxsan with the AK, having a hot game at the moment, so of course he could pick it up with the extra money he made from the Glock.
I don't think he wants to give away that he has it. See him not spamming into smoke whatsoever. Wants that first engagement to be a surprise. Maybe catch someone with a little bit of an ego play, thinking they're going up against pistols.
Boost for kyxsan. There's the peek at short. He's waiting for Zontix to provide it. And now the AK will erupt across the server. Heroic get their opening pick. Donk to deal with the push out of Palace. Shush walks right into him. Donk worried about connector and jungle, leaving Chopper to deal with the push out of A ramp. She will certainly do with ease. He'll move out of the sandwich. Donk with another couple kills here at jungle. And he just goes for that swing, and he is not slowing down. A 4K for Donk, and he wants the crowd to erupt.
Between this and the pistol round, Donk's looking like he came into Mirage ready to rock and roll. He's very precise at the moment. These kills are coming out very fast. First bullet dinks and easy cleanups, and now he's got an AK-47 in hand. Force buy from Heroic goes nowhere.
Definitely a fan favorite out in Shanghai is Donk. Been watching the behind the scenes vlogs. It's always great to see those with Spirit, and yeah, they've just been getting so much support wherever they're going. And, you know, Shiro and Donk in particular as the two standout superstars of the Team Spirit team. Flashes and one smoke. That's what Heroic have. They want to try and get into this B bomb. So a bomb plant wouldn't be the worst outcome here. But I like that they've gone for the more conservative approach. Jason, I want to see the guns in these Heroic players' hands as soon as possible.
Yeah, you have to in this situation as Heroic. We'll see if they can make it past Magix. Zontix is going to be on catwalk and hustling back as soon as utility shows. Magic's going to call him back right now. Defensive smoke deployed. Molotov for the dropout. Nade in towards the bomb site. And Magic's caught jumping and taken down. Plant is a real possibility. Nothing to stop them. Even the nade on the follow-up misses. So the bonus money is there. And the goal accomplished for Heroic in that round.
Yeah, extra money to work with going into the next. Nice and clean in the end, though, from Team Spirit. Swiping those unarmored opponents under the rug. But here comes the buy. And the AWP immediately purchased for Heroic.
And for Shiro on the Team Spirit side of things. Drops his rifle over to Magix, who went down. Picks up the AWP in return. 3-0. kyxsan's first crack at a gun round on Mirage.
I enjoyed his T-side. A couple of really cool calls, but that missed window smoke, that could be a big problem here. Donk just spamming down, looking to make the most of that mistake. And
seeing that smoke missed a lot, I feel like, this tournament, all through the run at the major, seeing plenty of teams miss it.
Yeah, that's true. Been a big problem. Changes your initial plan too. If you want to go out top mid, you know you're going to have to deal with the fact that that's open. You might have to change the plan on the fly. Nerds, he's applying pressure and he's not stopping. He's actually just walked straight through the connector smoke. This is a cool move from Nerds. Oh my god, he's gone right by him, and Zontix, he will still fall at the hands of Nerds as Donk makes sure that that trade is available here for Team Spirit. He's burning in the corner. He doesn't have the essential util, but eventually a smoke comes in to save him, and Donk is going to sit in the corner, not moving into the open, and not being spammed down. Dexter takes a pause, looks back from the reaction, and Dexter's got 2 kills at short.
That's a nasty little change of verticality, dropping down onto the stairs. Shiro couldn't adjust in time. Bomb planted, and Chopper trying to hang on while this smoke fades for Donk. They know he's still there.
Yeah, they know he's still in that corner, and eventually he'll take the fight. Tess has to close it on Chopper, and Heroic have their first round victory here on Mirage.
That's all on Nerds, though. Look at how much chaos it causes. His first kill coming through that smoke. Awkward engagement with Zontix. But once you get that kill and gain that position, the whole defense is under a ton of pressure. Limits what Chopper can do, limits where Donk can go, especially with the Molotov at his feet. First round for Heroic. And a timeout taken from Spirit. Another round, I feel like we saw this sort of a buy so much on Ancient. 2 MP9s in the Team Spirit CT side. Nasty shot.
Well, still got to deal with the problem that Team Spirit have enough money to get the AWP in Shiro's hands, 2 rifles and 2 MP9s. This time the window smoke connects. Zontix walking out short. It's a short swing. It's a very heavy commitment despite being blinded here for Zontix. And he's got a whole heap of utility. So you don't want to lose that early on here if you're Spirit. A boost could be a really good idea. Zontix gets fired up on top. Magix plays just in beneath him. And Donk over the top of that connector smoke is taking away Nertz. Tessus has slipped into the smoke undetected.
Yeah, and they'll think the boost would have spotted this, so actually Tessus can wreak havoc.
It's a great move from Tessus. A really smart idea, but he realizes he has to move quite quickly on it. Tip of the barrel spotted. Dexter still wins that fight, and Tessus strikes from jungle. And suddenly it all unravels here for Team Spirit. Another headshot for Tessus, and havoc certainly unleashed upon the defenses of Spirit. Magic's waiting, but the silent push from kyxsan has been spotted, but not the ideal. Clean fight for Magix, and it is in the end cleaned up by Heroic.
And the Team Spirit just used a timeout for this round. I don't think they want to burn a second one this early, but there's certainly going to be a conversation about how this unraveled. Don't going to be wondering how Tessus was able to get such a good position. And look at again, Shiro has been put in some awkward situations with the AWP in back-to-back rounds.
That is such a sick play from Tessus.
Yeah, it's nasty. And look, Nertz in the previous round as well, it seems like they have an idea of when they move up connector, make a play. Don't be afraid to keep pushing forward. And back to pistols for Team Spirit, just USPs.
I think for Heroic, the story is so cool for Ashush and Tessus, because when that move happened and we seen Cadian go and leave the squad, and then Stown and Yabby went off to Astralis, that was the main storylines that dominated the headlines, the whole drama around that, the expectations that those rosters would start to perform, right? We thought the Cadian Liquid would be a really solid team. We thought Astralis with Stown and Yabby was going to be a great squad. No one thought that Heroic would be in a situation where they're here at the major playing against Spirit for a progression spot into the playoffs, and Astralis wouldn't be here. All three of those players in that ex-Heroic team did not make it to the major.
No, not even that. It just looked like there was no logical reason why this team would be better than either of those squads in any way. And those two obviously have done a great job. It's taken maybe an extended time of 2024 for it to come to fruition, but it really does feel like at the major, all the pieces are coming together for this Heroic lineup.
Sure, on a more consistent, significant basis, but they did show some signs early at the start of the year. They knocked Vitality out of Katowice. There were little glimpses.
Early isolated wins and best of threes.
Very early glimpses, but only starting to come together now towards the end of 2024. They're about to tie the scoreline up against Team Spirit.
Good kill from Zontix, but this round shouldn't slip out of control. Magic's only with the USP. Been spotted now as well. Free kill. Deagle comes over. Would have to be the best shots in the world from Donk. And they'll prioritize the AK-47s. And a weird economic situation, keeping those in hand. In fact, they're going to start sliding up the stairs for some exit kills. So Donk and Zontix working together to decimate the fallback away from the bomb explosion if Heroic come through halls. But Heroic have tied things up at 3. And it's not like it's any crazy tactical team-wide call, but great calls to put players in positions to make the plays necessary. Nertz in the first gun round, Tessus in the follow-up. And Heroic's delivering on this Mirage pick. Their selection in the series.
Nertz showed away into the underpass. No challenge coming his way. Tessus being supported by utility thrown out by his teammates, looks to combine this mid-control with Nertz, who gets the fight going in the connector. Donk is dead. And so will Nertz as the grenade from Magix evens out the numbers.
Yeah, pretty fair trade as well. Your star players, your more aggressive space-taking players who want to get stuck into fights, both just cancel each other out. We descend into a 4-on-4. Tess is calling out the presence of one on catwalk due to the trajectory of the nades. Zontix still not spotted up in ladder room. A heavy lean towards the middle and B side of the map. Even Chopper rotating over. Shush is still lying in wait to lurk up A ramp on a timing. And a palace smoke to make it feel like Spirit are defending this bomb site strong.
Oh, Magix, here he comes. Over the top, not spotting the heads. Now the attentions will be drawn towards Connector, but his head is ripped off by Tesses. Chopper having to defend from jungle, and it's only one. Here's Shiro, no collateral. That'll not save the day, so it's on Zontix instead to win it in the 1v2. And Shush dives to the back of triple, and we know Shush has got a clutch in him. He's comfortable in these kind of scenarios. When it comes down to the thinking man's game, it is going to be Shush that just hits the headshot instead. Zontix off the top of the stairs, and Heroic take the lead.
And so far, this has been really like missed opportunities from Team Spirit. The Magic's engagement could never find a clean fight, peering off catwalk in towards Khan. It felt like he would have at least one headshot, but what a beauty from Tesses, and an even better trade from Dexter.
Oh, that's the shot.
Man, there's so much emphasis right now on middle and Connector from Heroic. Every single round, every single gun round has been decided by Heroic marching up Connector and Spirit unable to stop it. And Team Spirit have even had really good setups for mid. The boost up on the boxes a couple rounds back, that was a nice little trap setup with the player top con. Open window and Magic's on catwalk, all of it just gets busted and broken apart with very little impact.
Donk and Nerds both get to stay alive a little bit longer in this round, and they're going to use the Connector play from Nerds to inflict the maximum amount of pain on Team Spirit. Nerds to drop Chopper first. They continue to move forward into the site. Nerds distracted though, pulled away from default, and a nice shot from Shiro. Is there anything else for Shiro on this scout? They're pushing him, and he's got a no-scope out of nowhere. And suddenly a chance for Team Spirit erupts from their sniper as Dexter moves into position. Donk is still alive. And Magic's now spotted too. And Shush had the clutch in the last round. He's got to do it again. Difference is, bomb is down towards CT, and Donk is watching it with an AK. Magix is repositioned, but he's smoked out, but there's a gap. And so the distraction set up, and the damage done, but Donk stays on his feet and ties up the scoreline.
What a round from Shiro, saving the day. A beautiful shot, a lucky shot. But it delivers the bomb at the feet of Donk, and the fact that he's tucking himself into Ticket that whole fight, making them swing on him to clear him out, buying time for Donk to arrive in CT spawn. Perfect decision making from Shiro, and that is the lifeline Team Spirit needed. They're having a lot of trouble handling this T side. That's given them a sigh of relief, a little bit of breathing room as they steal one back. Smoke broken open with the Molotov. Nobody from Heroic caught out in the open, and now they cross.
Nerds swings, great flashbang from Tesses. Provides an easy kill on Donk, who couldn't fight back. And Zontix evens out the numbers, evens out the fight.
And this is a great follow-up play from Shush. I mean, recognizing you killed Donk, you saw two more in middle, and saying, I've got space. I'll find it. If there's someone here, it's a 1v1. And he's moved up and got good room at the top of the ramp. So the rest of Heroic going to join up. You've got a lurk set up in Dexter, who's going to come through underpass. Problem is, you do have a smoke on Tesses for the cross. But he's now dead.
Yeah, great shot from Shiro. Just ahead. And his second one as well. Shiro shredding through his opponents. And he's been relatively quiet in this series so far. Didn't have to talk about him too much over on Ancient, but Shiro with some big rounds here back-to-back on the Scout, then the AWP.
Yeah, that's huge impact there, and you can see it once you get those two kills. If you're Team Spirit, you kind of know it's coming together. You know, likely chances are there's going to be someone up in Palace. You know, chances are there's going to be someone lurking in middle. What a perfect sequence of events for Shiro. Precision pinpoint shots, and it's 5-4.
Heroic feel the hurt of that kind of round loss as again they're down to pistols, and I like the idea for Nerds. Just unfortunately, Chopper was ready for it. Have to land an absolute blinder as he sprints out ramp with the Deagle. Team Spirit mere moments away from collecting 6 rounds on the CT side.
And importantly enough, if you keep all 5 players alive, you kind of set yourself up very nicely to just avoid any financial issues in the last 2 rounds, regardless of what happens. When Heroic get the guns back out, I'm curious to see if they go back to this kind of con-focused attack, or if they feel like it's time to switch things up.
Tessa's coming out of the ramp now with the Deagle. Smoked out. Tessa's will move in. We know he's quite sharp on the Deagle, but no, his teammate's gone. Just one shot would be a luxury. One that will be provided. As Chopper couldn't quite stomach both kills and got none of them as Donk just flies through the sky to close it out.
All right, 6-4, 2-round lead. Final 2 rounds of the half, and it's the first time out called by Heroic. Saul wants to get involved in the mic. Prepare his team to scrape together as many rounds as they possibly can on their map pick of Mirage. And then we get to see what style is going to come out. Last couple gun rounds, it's been Nerds and Donk going blow for blow, 1 for 1. I think Nerds has come out of both the engagements, but Donk has teammates there for the trade immediately. I feel like Nerds is a piece they'd love to have into the mid-round, a guy who can just sense a way to make a play, an impactful move. He's died each and every round of this map so far, really getting stuck into the action. Window smoke is out. Base of catwalk smoke is plumed.
Smoke up in kyxsan's face, just as it looked like he was wanting to get that fight going. Nerds is hearing steps above him on short, though. You mentioned this fight between Nerds and Donk inside of the connector.
Look how much attention they put here, though. Donk and Shiro in con. Zontic's up on catwalk. They don't realize that he's already made it past.
Well, that grenade is not going to help out his chances, but the push from Shiro certainly will. Nerds just annihilates it. Big move for the AWP to go into the open fight at connector. Donk to win the duel against Nerds and a second kill in. So Donk undoes the hard work, or rather undoes the hard work of Nerds. And here comes Dexter coming back through short. Bomb on his back, utility with him. And Magic's watching the window drop out into the site. He sees one coming up short as well. Calls for his teammate to watch that as Magic's and Zontic's combine. They shut down the last-ditch effort into the B-bomb site from Heroic.
Yeah, beautiful play, beautiful defense at the B-bomb site. Obviously, Donk has the spectacular kills in middle. He's now up to 17 and 5. The hard carry performance from Donk at this major continues. Highest rated player. And then you go over to Magic's and Zontic's defending the B bomb site. The spot towards catwalking, recognizing Magic's. He can commit to that fight because his teammate's in trouble. It's a 3-round lead. And ever since the scout round from Shiro, this game has turned on its head.
Magic's to do a little bit of damage towards kyxsan. The grenade assisted in dropping him further, but kyxsan's still alive. He's still allowed to fight on. They're going to get Nerds up into the window, wanting to make a play here. Made a little bit of noise, and Chopper with the AK-47 is now primed on his location.
Massive over-rotation from Spirit, though. So many players shifted to the B bomb site. This catwalk fight has not gone well for them in the past, but this time Zontic's delivers.
Chopper waits inside of the A site. They're coming through that smoke now. He spots them just about with the cover of the default boxes, and his teammate in Donk. They will shut down the efforts through the connector, leaving kyxsan on 20 HP alone against the entire force of Team Spirit. An 8th round secured right at the end of the first half. And Team Spirit edging closer to the playoffs here in Shanghai.
5 rounds in a row. Spirit end that half, and it all began with the scout from Shiro at Ticket. A force buy with 1 M4 on Donk, the scout on Shiro, and those weapons deliver for them.
That round was nuts. It felt like that was the only chance into that round as well.
Nert's involved in 8 opening engagements in this half as well. Winning 6, losing 2.
Very active.
Yeah, he's just been involved in so much, and that's why it was so painful, I think, when he got traded off early on in these rounds, because he was the biggest creator, the biggest, the most aggression that we saw of any of the players. On the heroic side, they struggled, I think, at times to find success once he went down. But we'll see, because it felt like a very similar half. Like it felt like Spirit could handle what Heroic was throwing at them throughout that half. But you think of some of the early gun rounds that forced the saves. They kind of lurked through the smoke from Nertz, the crazy play from Tess's. If you don't get those plays to turn rounds in their favor, Heroic could have been buried. So switching over to T-side, pistol round is going live. 2 smokes, 4 flashes for the Team Spirit attack in this pistol. It's going to be a fake. Chopper's got 2 smokes, 1 at his feet. If you imagine jungle stairs. With the advanced stack defense at the A bomb site, though, it'll be pretty quick that Heroic realizes it's a fake. The problem is, I don't know if there's going to be enough resources at the B bomb site to handle it. kyxsan and Tess's, it's all on you. And kyxsan has a molly.
And now here's the steps. The utility goes in, but Donk is already beyond it. He's already deep into the B-bomb site, but he's alone, severed off from his teammates. And great shots from kyxsan and Tess's as they stall out the Spirit attack.
Yeah, that Molotov did so much work, so much heavy lifting in the round. You're exactly right. Donk got segmented off from the attack. Nobody to follow up on his position. And a really tough duel out towards Catwalk as he lands on the ground. kyxsan plays this perfectly. Magix and Chopper to try and pick up the pieces. But it's just so unlikely as Heroic is going to converge on this bomb site. And kyxsan still delivers even more, 5-8.
They continued to frag throughout the series as kyxsan. But Heroic once again have to come back. They were capable of doing it over on Ancient. They showed us that they were able to pull off massive comebacks and find gimmicky ways to get into the game. For Heroic, going up so quickly at 2-0, to lose to the Mongols, then find Spirit in your next best of 3, you don't want to be in a situation where you're going 2-2 with all the deadly teams we have at that stage of the tournament.
Yeah, we highlighted in the previous series. I mean, it's going to be such a tough 2-2 match for everyone involved down there. Although I'll tell you this, I think Heroic is now, you add them into the list of really dangerous teams being put down there. With the likes of FaZe, with the likes of Na'Vi.
All in best of 3s. What a cool stack from Team Spirit into the underpass. But it relies upon Heroic becoming undisciplined and impatient. And currently, that is not the case. They're allowing Team Spirit to come to them. When you have set your course on a big comeback, you can't afford to give away any of these kills. And kyxsan getting information early from the jump spot, calling upon Tess's again to come and help him. And a similar result to the pistol round. It is a shutdown from the combo of kyxsan and Tess's that leaves Spirit's bodies scattered in the apartments.
2 jumping kills with the MP9. Nice, spraying the bodies as well. kyxsan getting into the action.
Yeah. Not quite the jumping double with the AWP, but the MP9 will take it.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, at this point, we'll take it.
AWP is going to be passed over to Degster for the CT side. Wasn't exactly volume fragging in the first half, but had some very critical shots, some very important trades with it. Obviously, back on Ancient had some very good shots as well.
Well, it's going to need some volume fragging now in the second half as they try and topple Spirit on Mirage. Mirage in the past, when we talk about Dexter's peak as an alternate player in CSGO, he would be incredibly gifted on this map. He would take over the server. He'd have games where he win it on his own. He's got to have a similar performance here, and Magic's getting pushed by Shush. It's a great start here for Heroic.
Going back to Dexter for a second, he had that kind of an unplayable performance the other day against the Mongols on this very map as well. So see if he can revitalize. Good opening kill, 5-on-4 in the favor of Heroic as they claw back into this game just 2 rounds back. From tying things up.
Ooh. A split being set up here. 2 towards ramp. And Donk waiting ashore as Chopper's just at the bottom of the connector. There's still a minute left on the clock.
Yeah, almost looked like they want to get Donk in a position to be able to challenge up Catwalk a little bit just to take some attention away, but now just a full-blown split, which is going to be tough. And Nertz has found Donk yet again. Continues to have his number in these open space engagements.
A shutdown. Heroic deal with this so well, and there's no hero moment from Shiro this time.
Uh-oh, that was a very flat round.
That was dead. That was completely dead.
That had no strength behind it whatsoever.
Well, there's a territory here where they can go for a half buy. We talked about Spirit's unwillingness to save in the first map on the T side. Don't think that's going to be the case here. We should see them be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, well, obviously not getting enough kills and not getting a bomb plant to help them continue that kind of force buy battle. So yeah, as the losing bonus has built up into this second half, they've got to descend to pistol and armor. kyxsan doing a good job of shutting down the B bomb site early on in this half with Molotov with information. Nertz got to be careful. Chopper's beat his timing, and he disappears back into the smoke. Tessus finds the opening kill and relative safety for the Heroic defenders.
Grenade lands on Chopper. Most of his health gone now. That allows the transfer for Nertz. He nearly gets back up. Looked like he was going to have a chance to take out Shiro. But another round where Heroic only lose 1 member. Money is beginning to swell for the CTs. And for Spirit, a timeout used, their second so far on Mirage.
Yeah, it's been 4 in a row for Heroic to even things up in this second half. And no real complications. Money's looking good. Defense is looking good. Nothing tricky has slipped past them. Protocols and communication and teamwork are all solid so far. So Spirit going to have a conversation about how they can change that. Change the nature of this half. Up in Shiro's hands.
Shiro has been getting a little bit of criticism from the community's perspective. Just he goes a little quiet in games. Not used to seeing him this quiet. They remember the days of Shiro's past where he was one of the most exciting snipers in the Gambit team, and then into Cloud9. But he's definitely had those moments in Spirit, just sometimes dampened by the fact that there's so much firepower elsewhere on the team.
First gun round was a very early kill on Magic, so Spirit's going to be happy to start moving into the mid-round after the initial salvo of utility in a 5-on-5. Very patient, spread around the map. Bomb is dropped at the back of A ramp. Kind of feel like this mid control is all to set up a play through Con. Follow-up window smoke. Follow-up defensive smoke at the base of connector to negate the timing.
Push forward from Nertz. Great work. That flash was so effective from Dexter, so Shiro is gone. And another frustrating round for him to have to stomach. 45 seconds. Team Spirit move out in a 3v5 now thanks to Nertz, who just really isn't stopping. A second kill. And Team Spirit slowed down to a halt.
Yeah, that felt very telegraphed from Team Spirit. Even Chopper's now been spotted. Tessus is going to have him boxed in. I mean, Heroic with all those defenders in the middle were just like, okay, now you're starting to use utility to take con control. This is where we flash and peek, and this is where we shut you down. Tess is going to swing for the fight off of his teammate. Good trade.
Backing into the M4. Donk was nearly protected from Magix, or rather by Magix.
And look at the way that Tessa steps up next. not necessarily caring about the kill, but want to prevent the AWP from being picked up. If they find Magic's, though, Tessa's.
Oh, $300. Oh, no. Oh! A jumping headshot with the AK-47 and sent down to $300. Tezes has stolen Magic's lunch money.
What are you supposed to do about that? Gotta be so frustrating if you're Magic's. First gone round, he gets aggressed upon. This one, because his teammates are going down, he never get a chance to play, and now you got no money. And Spirit have bought right back up, but this map is completely out of their control.
Bullied.
I don't think we've seen them yet get the opening kill.
They might have a chance here if they get under the scope of Dagster. They're right underneath them. Dagster not reacting. Hello, there we go. Chopper down below, and Dagster finds out the hard way that they had pushed all the way down middle under his gaze.
Yeah, very curious. He kept that timing the whole way through. Now they attack up. Shush, good shot, but he's got to fall away.
Important fight for Shiro, one at the B-bomb side. Look where the bomb is. Look where the bomb is. All the way back in the T apartments. They've got to go back and get that. There's a 3v3 though. And Shiro's going to go and collect the bomb. He's got Magic's with him. And so with the bomb recollected, Team Spirit will make their way to the B-bomb site. And there is one player here. But how good is kyxsan B when holding down this B-bomb site?
Yeah, but remember,
he's so good.
He's usually jumping and spotting and then dropping a Molotov. This time he won't have that same kind of angle or that same kind of information. If he jumps now, he's going to be in trouble. They'll have him pinned down.
He's going up against a P250 in the hands of Magic's that comes around first, and Shiro has to trade it. So fortunately for Team Spirit, the trade is there, but it's down to Chopper at short. The bomb is planted for him. Shush is low on HP. Shiro's done so much in this round. He gets to the bench. Shush has already moved into the site. And no one from short is peeking. Will Shiro have his crosshair in the right spot? He will as Shush moves in towards him. It's now just Nertz. A 1v2 setup into a 1v1 with that grenade. And it's Nertz against Chopper. And there's a firepower difference, but it might not come down to that. It might just come down to the defuse as Nertz just sticks it. And the hand to the head of Chopper as he can't believe he's let that one slip.
And Nertz had a cheeky little smile when that defuse comes in, just bobbing up and down, and Chopper never commits. That was the best round Spirit have played this entire half. And it's stolen away by a stuck defuse.
Chopper peeks as well. He peeks into the open.
Hey, he thought that peek would get him off it. He thought that peek would be the one that makes Nertz a little bit nervous, but he ain't faking that. What a snatch away from Nertz, a 1v2. And this run from Heroic continues. It's now 6 straight rounds.
Donk. Oh, it's a tough fight. One that he really shouldn't re-peek into. Testis is forced off the ledge, and so with that information, Donk can move out.
Heroic have never been punished by these more aggressive stances in middle. They've been coming out on top of all of them, and once again, it's Nertz. Not completely blinded from the flashbang, and even the op on Shiro misses as Nertz slides into it. Controlling, just like on Ancient, controlling the middle of the map is Nertz, and so impactful from this CT side.
1 minute on the clock. And as you've been pointing out, Team Spirit have constantly had to play in these 4v5s. Losing the opening player, having Donk gone, and he's gone silent. This is huge for Heroic.
Ooh.
Nertz just moves away. Here comes the peek towards Dagster. Shot not going to connect. Shush comes off the top of the wood. It's Zontix that goes down. Great kill from Magic's inside a connector. Nertz to swing it. Damage done. 30 seconds left here for Team Spirit, and they're making their play towards A. And Shush has not moved. He's waited this entire round for that palace push through the smoke, and Chopper is the man to provide. Round is done again. And 11 rounds to A for Heroic as they are getting to the tail end of Mirage. Looking to bounce back after an Ancient loss and send this series versus Spirit to 3. Shiro holding on, fighting on, and will die. At least money in the bank for Shiro for the next, but same can't be said about every one of his teammates.
No, but this T-side has been horrible. Heroic's the defense has been so much stronger. They seem so much more comfortable, and this is what it looks like when it feels like you can't tactically outplay the opposition, but also not even getting any entry kills any longer. This is where, Nertz is winning out this fight against Donk so frequently on both sides of the map. And Chopper's never given any chance to play with an advantage. And with all the aggressive pieces constantly battering, ramming in middle, the lurkers like really have no opportunity as the round gets into the later stages to make any kind of a play. I almost think Team Spirit, it's time to go away from this default. Like you're at the end of your chances to get back into this. Give me an execute. Get into a bomb site at the very least. You've had one of them.
The window smoke connects, and Dagster's waiting for the pick in the middle. Once again, Team Spirit do send significant forces into the mid-fight. Nertz is going to drop Chopper. Another opening kill from Nertz in mid. And Shiro waits, just looking into the site. No push towards him. Shoots waits a triple. And Donk has climbed through the connector smoke at the perfect time. And when they need someone to step up, Donk delivers a double. A 3v3 Team Spirit in this fight. And looking for 9 rounds. Dagster waits towards CT spawn. The smoke will trickle out in front of CT, but TeSeS waits atop stairs. The kyxsan push to the smoke below him. Shiro spotted, looking the wrong way, and kyxsan's move forward, stopped by Magix. A 2v2, Magix unleashes, but it's a 1v1 as he drops into the CT smoke. His teammate gone, and all picked up, and Magix on the sprint. He wants to get to the B bomb site. He wants to beat TeSeS to that position. But he looks to the murder hole, thinking he might be able to catch TeSeS moving forward. Will TeSeS be patient enough? He's going to walk right into it. He stalls at the last second. A tease on the X-ray, but the push comes in. And a great awareness, a great decision from Magix to be able to get a 9th round win here for Team Spirit in a must-win round.
Yeah, beautiful clutch from Magix, but I mean, this is the Donk difference. Look at how important it is for him to be able to have impact, and that's been Nertz shutting him down most of this half. Finally, he gives you the entry you needed, and you're able to build a win off of it. And that's why so many consider him the best player in the world, is how much impact and how much Spirit rely on his openings at his level to be there game after game.
Magix said it himself in the pre-game interview. Said, well, if we qualify today, well, it all depends on Donk.
Yeah, well, a little bit of a joke then, but it might actually be true now.
It might become reality. Dagster peering down into the underpass.
How much confidence do you have that Spirit can replicate it, though? Back to middle. Tess is on catwalk, Dagster with the op down underneath the window, and he's got one.
There's a play coming towards B with a bomb in their backs. It's currently kyxsan getting spotted. He's jumping around, but he's stuck in position, and this M4 in the hands of this in-game leader has locked down the B bomb site again.
Back-to-back maps, kyxsan is the #1 top fragger for Heroic, leading from the front. And he's about to take him to a 3rd map. Shiro 1v4.
kyxsan looks it short. Great shot from Shiro. Needs a second and needs a moment. He waits for the peek into the market. That mistake not given over. Dagster wraps around the back. And he'll take Shiro down with no issues. And Heroic now reach map point on Mirage. kyxsan with a standout performance as the in-game leader to output this much fragging ability. It is so beautiful to watch, and some great T-side calls over on Ancient as well. A lot of excitement around kyxsan in this series.
Great T-side calls too, and the 4 rounds they won in the opening half, but it's been all defensive here. And it's deja vu, 12-9, 3 rounds needed for overtime, but it's this time Team Spirit who have that kind of pressure. And another opening frag provided by Dagster. This defense has been so rock solid in the opening stages of rounds. They've neutralized Donk. They've been dominant in opening engagements. And Spirit have never had any room to work with.
Nertz has been Donk's nemesis in mid. He's gonna wait, just passively in connector this time. Holding the advantage. Chopper to walk through the smoke. Oh, timing is unbelievable. Nertz takes a step back into the smoke just as Chopper moves forward. But TeSeS is still in a powerful position. Watching from short into the connector, and Nertz looks to peek with him. Dexter's now brought his scope over and has it pinned in con.
Almost seems like they know.
They seem to know, absolutely. Utility going to be used up. Chopper forced away, flushed out by Nertz. Here comes the push from Tessus at short. And it seemed like we were getting ready to celebrate progression for Team Spirit into the playoffs, but Heroic decide to silence Spirit. And Donk will go forward alone, but there's so many targets. And he can often prove enough on his own. And can this little nuisance pull off an unbelievable clutch to keep his team in it? Yes, he can. Donk the Destroyer with a 4K and all 5 in the end. Unbelievable from one of the world's best.
How do you even begin to describe this? Deathmatching. And Heroic so confident they've got the round one, they give him every fight he needs. As he's done time and time again, he is the engine for Team Spirit.
And Chopper cannot believe what that young man beside him is capable of pulling off. Here at the Major, when all looks lost for his squad, he delivers an unthinkable clutch against the entire force of Heroic.
And now this gets interesting. You still have 2 more to go, but Heroic's out of money after this bye. Timeout called because Saw's trying to settle the team down. That's maybe the first time we saw Heroic kind of break discipline, break ranks, and just say, you know what, 4-on-1, we can end it. Individual peaks. Everyone trying to be the hero that closes them down. But still the problem for Spirit is they haven't found a winning recipe. Mid has not worked at all this half. All 5 players towards the A bomb site, but that's a signal in and of itself. You're not going to see nearly as much activity out in middle. And if they win this round, miraculously Spirit could force overtime.
Here's Shush, his turn. Donk's dead, and so it might all be over even then. Bomb is down at the ramp, and Heroic send the aggression right through. 2 players left for Spirit, and even with all the might mustered by Donk to keep them in this Spirit, it is not enough.
And it'll never happen twice. It will never happen twice. This time it's Zontix to play Gladiator. And look how disciplined they're being now. kyxsan takes contact, they swing off of that.
Zontix with a double, there's no way. Tessus missed the shot. They can't let this happen again, there's no way. Zontix takes a moment to go around that corner and breathe. Dexter decides it's not a job for the AWP.
Same setup.
It's a job for the SMG and the rifle. Toss those snipers and get this job done. Zontix hits the pause button. But for Heroic, it will be a story of resuming as we go into the 3rd map. It was never easy at the end for Heroic, but eventually they will put a stop to Spirit, and this series will continue.
There are few teams that will play with your blood pressure like Team Spirit do.
The supporting cast, that's always the conversation around the Spirit team.
I think it's been the conversation since coming out of the player break, right? Because at the first half of the year, when you think about Katowice and the explosion there, the revelation of all 5 players, good calling from Chopper, Shiro in the team as an AWPer, Magix and Zontix providing in the supportive roles and the anchor roles and whatever they're called upon. That conversation changed in the second half of the year, where all of a sudden that was like looking around and saying, where did the supporting cast go? How are we so fooled for the first 6 months? And that's been the thing they're trying to correct coming into this major. They went into Copenhagen as the hands-down favorite, the Copenhagen major as the hands-down favorite to win the entire thing. Didn't make it through the playoffs, got a bunch of experience. Coming into this one, not as favorites and as a team that looks like there's some weaknesses to exploit. Because exactly as you said, it feels like there's an over-reliance on Donk. And it didn't pan out for them on Mirage. He could not provide enough to carry him over the finish line.
Mid-fight going down as Shush spots out Zontix. Good night.
It was a 13-6 victory for Furia on this map. To start things out in this elimination stage, Donk gets one back and get a pressure into the site.
Great pick from Donk. Tessus waiting around the corner, USP. Vertigo. Standing his ground, planting his feet, and a full-up headshot not to be found. He's out of bullets. and now out of life, eventually peppered to death. But here's kyxsan around the back. They move forward, but they still have to deal with the fact that kyxsan is fragging out, and kyxsan alongside Shush combined to close out the first round here on Dust2.
The attacks never really felt all that connected. Like Donk up catwalk gets that pick and is peering into the A bomb site. Everyone else is kind of coming out long very, very late, and just gaps that kyxsan is able to exploit. Wrapping up middle, no one spots him at any point. That's a pretty filthy shot. Fair play. Can't even argue against that one. If you're Zontics, you're like, what can I do? Eventually finding Tesses, but the extended fight allowed kyxsan to get into this position. And a second round force buy for Team Spirit without the bomb plant. Tech 9's a Deagle and a scout on Shiro.
Smoke for the CT cross, the flash to follow in behind it. And Nertz awaits the MP7 play out of the window, but Shiro, flash pick, Chopper also on that follow-up, and Team Spirit populate the B bomb site. Plank goes down in the corner.
Way too easy.
And that was way too easy.
That's one of the few rounds we've seen on the heroic CT sides across both Ancient and Mirage where they just they didn't have any information. Nobody was really aggressive in any sense to keep track of the movements from Spirit, and you're just handed a free mid to B split on a round with Tech 9s. Against an MP7 up in window. That is way too easy. An MP7 that had already been tagged on the cross as well. Heroic make no adjustments, and this time lose track of everything. Good job from Shiro finding the opening pick, and poor Shush just had no chance as the flashbang stream over, so an immediate response and rebuttal.
Considerations now for Heroic as they have a few weapons saved over, not a lot of cash left over, so force coming around those.
Occupies a pretty similar spot in both teams' map pools. Very, very similar amounts of times it's been played in series. Very similar win rates on the map as well. Kind of middling map for both. CT side for Spirit will be fun when you see Donk get aggressive in lower dark. For now, it's Shush with a 5-7. Chopper, he backs away, waits for a teammate to arrive, gives a chance for the aggression. Donk recovers, and Shiro's scout just continues to rain down death.
Just melting away this round from Heroic. It's kyxsan left alone on the other side of the double doors. He'll do what he can, but the scout of Shiro chimes in. We talk about the over-reliance on Donk. Well, if Shiro is able to show up on this final map, that would be a welcome addition to the firepower of Spirit.
Especially considering it's your opera on a map like Dust2. We've seen him get a couple tags on the cross. Scout obviously doing great work. That's a force buy from Heroic around the 3 saved weapons that gets absolutely nothing done. No chance at even victory as they get picked apart by Shiro. 2-1 and a chance for Spirit to build upon this and gain some money. So far, T-side's been a much faster pace. Much more aggressive than we saw in Mirage. Flashbang coming out from long, but Donk's made the run all the way into pit. They got no idea. Easy, spray down, all 4 kills. 3-1, Donk against the pistols, no chance.
Oh, he just makes it look so easy, man.
It was easy.
Yeah, it was.
Unarmored USPs?
Sure, but it's just
Didn't know he was in pit.
It's just every kill is just he just melts them, Jason. It's so fun to watch.
2-round lead as the guns return, and the op returns into the hands of kyxsan.
Here goes kyxsan, a little bit more aggressive out towards mid.
We had a gap behind that Molotov. It did spread eventually. Backs off, peers towards lower. Donk equally going for a little jump spot to make sure he's not in any danger of a boost. And now he's got control of Xbox.
Another boost for Heroic. This time with kyxsan up on top.
Another looking like a mid to B split, although this time more of a fake. Donk's going to chuck it out, and Shush and Nertz are very aware of the possibility, both of them playing outside the site, so access to the site from the Buchholz prong of the attack is going to basically be free. Donk keeping all the attention in this direction. Utilities out, and now the information is there. Both players, Chopper the one throwing the fake. And that's a huge find.
Yeah,
that allows them to retake.
And they're going to go with it. They're going to run with it. With kyxsan on that wall bang. A 5v3 set up for Heroic. And despite the lack of utility, they're going to send bodies through instead. But the utility might cost them.
Yeah, that was the one
been able
flash.
to pounce. Yeah, it's gone now. And no longer does this retake feel favorable. They're stuck outside the window. Perhaps they can just charge in. And the sheer force of numbers goes in towards Donk and Shiro's. They hold down the bomb site. 2v2. They continue to stay committed to this, but Shiro plays it perfectly. And kyxsan doesn't get in. And doesn't go through the door. And Shiro wants that op. So he pushes and he hunts. And he's got kyxsan's op.
The one kill on the cross from the op sold them a dream. And that risky flashbang play through the smoke, probably at the moment didn't realize it was their only piece of utility to activate the retake. And that's a rough way to throw it away. Economy a problem from Heroic as they buy in that round. They had to, but not enough nades to really complete the 5-on-3 retake. And really good crossfire positions inside the site, at Big Box, over at Car as well. No chance for Heroic to try and brute force their way in. And Donk barely blinded.
That Team Spirit will see this as one of their greatest opportunities to get through the playoffs with as least amount of stress as possible, but Heroic are going to make it difficult for them. You don't want to go down in that 2-2 bracket. As you mentioned so far, there's just so many great teams that are going to be at that stage of the major.
Furia and Pain in a third map as well, battling it out on the other stream. That's for elimination. One of those teams will move up to the 2-2 bracket. One of the teams here will move down to the 2-2 draw. Team Spirit's loving the mid-pressure into a B hit later on. They're really doing a good job of conditioning Heroic, who might have to start really leaning towards it until they can prove they can stop it.
Team Spirit quiet about taking short as Chopper moves his way through the mid doors. And here comes the execute. Spirit smokes her up. Shush looking to get into the mix of it. kyxsan sending his 5-7 forward, but Donk dispatches of 2 and a third inside of the site. Chopper's alongside him, and Nertz now the only remaining player as Team Spirit will take a 5-1 lead.
It's been much more simplistic on this T side so far, which I'm really enjoying. A lot more emphasis on making sure we're trading kills as we scale up different parts of the map. Donk obviously leading the way. Players streaming in after him here up against pistols, nice and easy. But not having that spread default like they did on Mirage, getting picked off one by one. Nertz controlling the map. Heroic CT side getting battered. And when the guns come out, how do they respond to all this pressure coming out of middle? Chopper's called a number of these rounds. This T side on Dust2, we're not that deep into the half yet, and they've only played a couple of gun rounds, but looking like it's got a much better idea.
Well, we were talking about all the woeful issues of the T side and drew upon the Furia performance as well, but this is much better for Team Spirit in terms of a start. You've already got 5 rounds to play with. There hasn't been a whole lot of resistance thrown at you by Heroic. That's got to change soon. It has to really change now if you're Heroic. You have the op ready for kyxsan. He's got a long spawn. So he's going to go and take that. Tessa's and kyxsan in behind it to support with utility. But the corner smoke sims from Team Spirit, preventing the AWP from getting a good angle.
A little bit of information for Spirit to work with as well. They heard the AWP ring out towards the long corner. They know it's going to reposition eventually and move. But indication they can challenge out middle early. That's Donk to go down, testing the mid smoke, and this time Nert says absolutely not. Steps up behind it. So Shiro looks elsewhere towards Catwalk, where Dexter's AWP is in position. Heroic's in trouble. They gave up long control and they gave up cat control. And Spirit's already out long.
Magix, Grid peek, and Dexter dead. Is there a follow-up for Magix as he peeks into the open? Tess to topple at the bottom of the ramp. It is falling apart here for Heroic at the start of Dust2. After such a hard fight on the first two maps, you do not want to watch them fall away here in the third and final, but right now, there is no choice.
That's a terrible defense. That's an unforced error on the defense. You had long control. You gave it up to go back to Catwalk. A flashbang scared you off the idea with 3 players. You realize the mistake of your ways and trying to retake long when they've already gotten out, unbeknownst to you. This is the result. A 4v5 converted due to the mistake by Heroic, and it might be time for them to take a timeout and talk things over. Now the benefit, or the nice thing to say about Heroic in this kind of a situation is we've seen them kind of go through some rough stretches, and we've seen them respond each and every time. Ancient, down in difficulty in the first half, had a rebuttal provided by Dexter, forced overtime with 3 rounds in a row. Mirage, the comeback on their CT side, the dominant defense they were able to mount to come back from a 4-8 deficit. But Team Spirit this time don't look like they're going to slow down whatsoever.
It may have been different rosters, but Chopper was a part of it, and there has been their fair share of historical Dust2 games for Spirit at majors. Think back to the Antwerp semi-final in particular.
Sure, although that one ended in a loss. I don't know if Chopper's going to be dreaming about that one too much.
But he can fix that, you know? Use Dust2 as a new force for good here at this major.
I mean, it was damn exciting, that match.
Yeah.
Look at all the money on Team Spirit, though. 12,000 on Shiro, 11,000 on Magix, 10,000 on Chopper, 14K on Zontix. And Heroic's starting to get a little crazy. Mid-push been spotted and Shush is going to back off.
Contained for now for Team Spirit. Just going through the motions with their mid-utility, clearing out the lower tunnel with the Molotov. And they'll start to move forward with just over a minute left on the clock. A heavy stack of players towards short for Heroic. Could get a little messy here for Donk as the peak comes around at the wrong time for his liking. And kyxsan won't complain. It's going to work out very nicely for Heroic to grab that opener.
Yeah, it looked like he was worried about a push from somewhere despite all the control that they had at that point.
Oh, he threw his gun away, but he didn't get the AK. So he goes back to the MP9 again. And Team Spirit setting up for a B pounce. Nertz is waiting with a 5-7. Close quarters, how many kills can he get? They're not looking the right way, so Nertz has got 2. A little bit more for Nertz, why not? A second round claim for Heroic off the back of the 5-7.
That might be exactly what they need. It was exactly what Dexter provided CT side Ancient. In a desperate scenario with a low buy, plenty of pistols. And this time Spirit's attack unravels. Nobody clears left. And now you have to take advantage of it. You get free upgrades, so already the economy just is a complete reversal where they were struggling to get out strong weapons. Now they get them for free and have money behind it as well. 3 AKs picked up and all picked up. And that's an immediate boost to what Heroic want to mount in this half of Dust2.
The 5-7, man. It can get you around like that.
Well, especially when you get caught at the awkward timing of throwing utility. Yeah, like the gun is coming back out when he gets his first kill, so the swing is a little bit late.
And the first guy comes out worrying about different angles, not checking that left corner, and so he's given a great opportunity there, Nerds. And he absolutely runs with it. Is that enough light, though? Is that an injection of energy into Heroic? And with that jumper cross, Shush is taking damage from Shiro's sniper.
Dexter wants to get aggressive in towards lower. Little Xbox smokes deployed to give him an angle. But lower dark aggression has become such a thing of Dust2 that everyone is cautious about it. Zontix taking his time, knowing eventually that smoke will fade and they have to fall back. It's the last piece of utility to block off the long double doors.
Oh. Luckily, kyxsan is crouched. Controlled again for Spirit in mid.
Another look in middle for the defense to try and handle. It's over towards long where the main thrust is going to come. Dexter with the angle.
Here comes the peak, flashes over the top, and so that forces the AWPer back. Magix continues to push forward. And he has been brutal towards long, but this time Dexter will impale him and leave Nerds under pressure with the car. The fire heats up, and Shiro, with the player forced into the open, easily collects that shot. Over 20 seconds, they get a move on. Dexter's chimed in again, and he goes out to the long pick. Shiro can't win this. There's not enough time. And for Team Spirit, it will be a third round conceded, and Dexter stepping up with a 3K this time. So you had a previous round win picked up by Nerds, Dexter here, and those are the two players you want delivering some impact if you're Heroic.
You're exactly right. Good shot from Shiro, but he's being hunted down by Shush. How aggressive is he going to be? Over at the blue bin, makes the steps. No reason for Shiro to peek. Nerds got you started, and Dexter helps you build upon it in a must-win round. But still so much money for Spirit. However, that 6-1 lead is going to start dwindling if they're not careful. And now that utility is full on the Heroic side, now that the AWP is out in play, they've been a lot less excited about the mid to B splits that were working so effectively for them in the first 6 rounds of the game.
The quiet ascent towards short. Oh, tip of the barrel spotted of Donk as it rounds the corner towards Dexter, but there's no further commitment for Donk yet. Here comes the swing, and the AWP gets blasted away by the speed of Donk as he unleashes and allows Spirit up short. They move, and they move quick.
It's fun seeing that kill from the AWPer's point of view. Dexter just
kyxsan forced into the open. Donk's got another one. Goes out to the long fight. Tess says this time, putting an end to Donk and putting an end perhaps to Heroic's misery, because Tessis has found another one at long side. Shush inside the smoke. Tessis not stopping, and Zontix alone in this 1v3. Alone in the world, fighting for Spirit, but stopped by Tessis, who delivers 4 on his backtrack out long.
Unreal, he's able to make that scale work during the entire attack as well. Only Donk swings long initially. Everyone else occupied with the fight coming up the jump boxes, and Tessis gets free reign once Donk goes down. Perfect round for a player who stepped up for Heroic time and time again at this major. Tessis delivers one more time. Look at the freedom. Oh, that's beautiful. Precision, pinpoint. And the easiest one he struggles with the most, but Zontix never glanced over. 3 in a row for Heroic to come storming back into Dust2.
One of the players left behind, persistently talked about as one of the players that should have been cut from Heroic when they needed changes, when they weren't winning their trophies, when they weren't winning the titles despite being in the finals. TeSeS was always in that conversation. Well, he's retained his spot in Heroic. There's a big part as to why they're stable enough to have this climb towards the end of the year.
I mean, I'm really glad they're still in it, because I thought this on even the old Heroic lineup with Katie. And TeSeS and Shush are the kind of players that you don't know what you're missing until they're gone. Those guys are critical pieces, at least in my mind. Donk gonna get Xbox control. And up towards Catwalk. Smoke clears the double doors.
Shiro, tight gap, big kill. Norris walks into the open, and you challenge Shiro at his game with a sniper, it isn't going to end well.
That's an ego peak of a weekend opper. Nertz, that's not an angle you need to slide into whatsoever. Punished, and now you only have 2 defenders at this B bomb site.
It's a double setup in the back of B, Shush and kyxsan. kyxsan could be flashed out in an active peek. Didn't gather the most amount of info, wasn't ready for Chopper to sprint through the double doors, and here comes the rest of the cavalry through the tunnels. Shush was left in an island alone. There's a gap in the doors for Dexter to use, but not able to connect that difficult shot as Team Spirit make their way to the B bomb site. Heroic will have to try and save.
What a sequence of unfortunate events. Nertz taking the angle that put him into danger, that got him killed, and then that Molotov bouncing off a rock, and it's almost like kyxsan was confusedly staring at it about where it was going to land. Not ready for the chopper swing. And now everything might be taken away from them. Spirit have all the money in the world to hunt this down with 1 round remaining.
Oh, Dexter, he's going to go down in the pit. Everything's gone. Nothing saved over, but at least some extra cash on Dexter and Nertz. They can sprinkle that across the team, but this last round of the half is now weakened by the fact that they just lost key pieces of the save.
Yeah, I mean, still pretty surprised at how strong of a buy they can get. MP9 so they can have the utility, or 1 MP9 so they can have the utility, but 3 M4s and an AWP in the hands of Dexter is not bad whatsoever. Spirit just goes back to what worked for them at the start, the mid to B split off the pick.
Here comes the charge to Nertz, some aggression. Setting it up front. How far does he want to go? He's hit the pause button for the time being. But Nertz loves a fight. Now he goes into the open, timing on the peak. Magic's able to stay alive behind the wall.
Really good jiggle, and Spirit's going to let him fall all the way back. Waiting for the flashbang to come from top mid, but it's not good enough to stop Dexter's shot on Chopper. 5-on-4 advantage given over to Heroic.
Desperately hoping that they can convert. On this 5th round of the CT side, Shiro watches as TeSeS walks right into him. An easy kill for Shiro in the end. 50 seconds remaining in the round, an A split being set up. 2 from long, 2 from short here for Spirit. Oh, and kyxsan exposed. Donk to deliver another headshot. And devastation is about to be queued up in towards this A setup because Donk has arrived with headshot after headshot, kill after kill. Shush left in a 1v4 that will not happen. He is so far away, and Team Spirit given an 8th round.
It's a second time in this half this defense has been caught trying to defend the bomb site without long control and without catwalk control, and you can see there's no comfortable positions at the bomb site when you're getting pinched from both locations. They give up the advantage again over to Team Spirit. And once again, it's a 4v5 converted due to the miscues at the A site. High fives all around, but the pressure descends on kyxsan to call another great T-side for Heroic. So and at this point, maybe you can rely on it, because he's been doing it throughout this run.
It's true, it is true. But worries of a weak T-side from Spirit and Dust2, they no longer exist. It was a strong T-side. And one of the strengths of Spirit that we've seen on Dust2 in the games that they did win, Jason, is when Shiro's having a good game on the CT AWPing department, can be a really difficult player to put away. And also, again, Donk has that similar style on the CT side where you're going to see him be pretty proactive. You're going to see him into the lower tunnels push. He's going to have some aggressive moves up short. He has been pretty active on the CT side in the most recent games we've seen from him.
Yeah, now I'll do the caveat to that because I know exactly the games you're thinking about since we casted it. It was against Bait to start out, the RMR, it was 13-1, Aurora 13-7. We know he likes to get stuck in and go look for fights, but if Heroic can temper him earlier, I'm wondering if that mindset shifts. 17 kills for Donk, so they're going to have to shut him down early. 14 kills on Shiro.
And he also has just made the best play of his career so far, Jason, so he's probably full of confidence at the moment, but let's see what Heroic are capable of doing.
Well, it's been a two-man army, which is fine for your T side, but now that you're on the CT side, other players are going to be called upon to step up. 4 kills on Magix, 3 on Chopper, 5 on Zontix. In their positions, when Heroic head their way, they're going to have to pick up the fragging department.
One minute left on this clock. A slow, drawn-out pistol here for Heroic.
Zontic's going to get back on B platform. Chopper's shifted back to the A side because he saw them scaling Catwalk. So going to bolster that defense. Donk stepped out to handle a mid to B split when the smoke subsides. Donk's going to get all the attention with no backup. It's him against the world.
And the Joe Berettas load up. Donk blinded, caught in the corner. Shush to remove him, and Zontix to step up in his stead, but he's getting pushed from multiple sides and couldn't handle the pressure through the window. And they're held back behind that smoke at CT currently, so the bomb gets away, gets to safety.
I don't think Nertz knew he had the bomb. He was sticking out around in mid way too long, watching for that smoke push. Someone had to call him back.
Did look like he had a little laugh about it as he made it through the doors and got the bomb planted eventually, but Tesses right on top of Chopper, timing to move away. Oh no, Tesses goes down. That's the kit, and the player with the kit now opened up to move through the tunnels, but the attack out of the doors is a perfect call and executed by Heroic. It's now Chopper with a 1v3, and they know exactly where he is, and not really in the kind of form to win this, so he'll back away, and that'll be a Heroic pistol round win. The first step of what has to be a brilliant comeback called by kyxsan.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Team Spirit just never truly expected that to be a mid to B split. If they did, they would have had someone kind of shift down towards CT spawn to be aggressive. Chopper thought for sure, convinced that it was going to be a hit up Catwalk. And Heroic able to just wait out the smoke at double doors, and a beautiful flashbang neutralizes Donk. No way Zontix can provide enough to slow them from turning the corner. Third and final timeout called by Heroic out of the pistol round victory, making sure, much like the first half, they've won both pistols now in this game. Just in the first half, they lost the second round.
Tech issue here to start the second half. Heroic went up 2-0 here at this stage of the major and had a game versus the Mongols. On a normal day, you would say Heroic should probably win that, you know, and for the most of the year you would say that. But with the form that the Mongols have been on and the streak that they've been creating for themselves, the Mongols were able to defeat Heroic in a close game.
Yeah, hitting a different peak so far at this event.
And your reward as you fall down into the next matchup is against Team Spirit.
Yeah, how fun is that?
That's the major. And I guess when you open that conversation up again, Jason, you can say that maybe some teams do get less difficult runs.
Here's the thing. Let's just say Heroic end up losing this third map, and Spirit qualifies on through, and Heroic has to play in the 2-2 games. If Furia wins, Heroic has to play Na'Vi to move on through. If Pain wins, Heroic has to play Mouse. So
Difficult games, whichever way you cut it, really.
Like, no matter who it's one of the best teams in the world, regardless of how you want to look at it. That's a lot of things to think about as you just sit here in the tech during the tech issue.
I hope they're not thinking about that at the moment. I really hope not, Jason. Because you just have to think about winning this map and avoiding all of those circumstances.
It's Nertz who's having the tech issues. We can see his PC being restarted and worked on. Got the mechanics out up on stage.
Yeah.
But with the PC turning off, it feels like this might take a little bit of time.
Now, for you in particular, Jason, you've obviously been around for a very long time in the Counter-Strike scene.
Some would say so, yes.
You have watched the rise of Simple as a young star and become the superstar of Counter-Strike. Now he's sort of phased out at that level, and we've now seen the rapid rise of the likes of Monacy and Donk, and it is crazy to see how quickly these players can rise to the top. I mean, this time last year, Donk was playing his first big tournament, his first big LAN, won that title.
Yeah.
Broke a record in terms of being able to pull back a reverse sweep in a best-of-5 final, and then went to Katowice as his next tournament. But that was only a year ago. And just think of all that has happened since then, right? And how quickly he cemented himself as one of the world's best.
Yeah, it happens very, very quickly. You can usually tell when someone's got the kind of special skill set, you know, that Simple obviously had, that Donk has, and even Monacy. Say the difference is Donk is going down, like, Monacy didn't have to go down the Simple path. He kind of stepped into a great team. Donk has to do it, you know, sometimes, as we kind of mentioned, as the lone star, as the guy who's doing a lot of hard carrying. On one of the top teams, sure, but the most impactful player on the team. Simple had to spend years in his career doing that and still delivering.
Yeah. And it's been almost a year since we've seen Shiro join the Spirit ranks as well, with a very odd decision towards the end of last year, stepping down from Cloud9. No one really knew what was going to happen. Where would you go? What's a better option? And then we seen the Spirit move, and it all made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, he saw the talent and the skill before the rest of us. I mean, yeah, towards the end of last year, I remember we were at the Perfect World CAC towards the end of 2023, and you were on Donk Watch.
Yeah.
Far in advance of me.
Yeah, I was. I mean, everybody was talking about him. If you like, just watching in the pug circles, and man, he is he's just fragging out. So very excited. I don't think anybody was. Well, I think people were expecting him to be a player that had the capability to get to this level, but the fact that it happened so quickly in this first tournament, it was mind blowing.
The majors are always fun for that. You always get like a glimpse of some younger star players kind of going through the RMRs.
I mean, we had Passion UA. I think it was one of the main stories coming out of this major. I think we'll
put Wildcard up there as well.
Yeah,
although
Wildcard, sure.
Kind of the individual revelations there had been spotted through some different leagues over in Europe ahead of time. One I'm thinking of is Thomasin for Bestia.
Oh, Thomasin, yeah.
Thomasin was nuts in the Americas RMR.
A long time ago, it feels like that.
Yeah,
America's RMR.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, weeks ago, but he was certainly the standout. Imagine he's going to get a better squad as the time goes on. And for Passion UA, I mean, for me, Jambo was one of the standout stars of the whole major in terms of discovering a new player. Considering
the level he was at with so few land maps played.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a long, wild ride.
Yeah, and there is also that conversation with a Spirit Academy player right now called Kyosuke. I think that's how we're saying it. I'm not sure, but that's what some people have been calling him.
Apparently, we'll be figuring it out shortly enough.
Yes. But I think it is almost, you can almost draw a comparison between him and sort of the Monacy situation with Na'Vi Jr., right?
Yeah.
And it's the problem that he plays some similar spots to Donk. I was watching a demo review, I believe, by Elige, and he was saying that he was playing some similar spots to Donk, and so you can't exactly move him into this squad because that wouldn't make sense. But it's the same story with Monacy. When he was in the Na'Vi Junior team, Simple was the opera for Na'Vi, and it doesn't make sense to move that. So they had to sell him. They got a big price tag for him, sure, but that might have to be a similar story here for Spirit, unless they force him into the team and try and figure out if he can play different roles. But yeah, that's something that to think about for the future going into next year. And with how Counter-Strike is shaping up next year, I think we're going to learn a lot of new names.
Yeah, and a lot of them, obviously, especially over the last few years, it's been very obvious the region has just a lot of talent in it. You talked about Monacy. One opera we didn't talk about coming out of that ties into the Na'Vi side of things is Wonderful, who thought he would never have the chance to play in Na'Vi.
Part of the Spirit roster.
Yeah.
In the past. Now a major champion.
Now a major champion.
Certainly something nobody's seen coming earlier this year. Na'Vi included in that. And right now, we'll see if they can, the defending major champions can make their way out of this stage of the major and into the playoffs, because it's looking touch and go.
Yeah, as we mentioned, that's one of those teams that's just waiting, lurking in that 2-2 game just to see who they're going to be playing in the next round of matches.
Yeah, and I mean, for the major MVP of the last major, JL, it's going to be feeling really rough right now for him individually. He's got to turn that around as of tomorrow.
Shiro trying to get the crowd to send some energy their way. Extended tech issue. Looks like it might potentially be resolved.
Yeah.
Shiro showing some love to the crowd after he's having a hot start to this game. We're back into the action, 8-5 in the favor of Team Spirit.
And the Vegas Squadron Sharks live on, Jason.
I love that, actually. That makes me so unreasonably happy.
Vegas Squadron make a return at the major. Chopper's still here.
The team that basically ended the NIP lineups of that era. Those God tier force and get right lineups.
And those God tier Shark memes. Nertz, that's classic MP7 making his way down mid.
Well, if you're just joining us during that tech pause, it was heroic to win the pistol. They won it in the first half as well and lost the second round too. Some incredible shots from Shiro's scout. Spirit's got to be careful. They have no long control. So Shiro sliding over to take control of that situation. And we saw what a disaster it can be without long or catwalk in the first half, as Heroic fumbled that kind of a situation twice. And the B bomb site seems to be the emphasis. Chopper gonna hope that smoke delays, and it does. It turns Tess's and Heroic back. 50 seconds on the clock.
And the flood of Heroic players ready to start firing out of the B tunnels. Chopper going into the position that we've seen Nertz deliver with a 5-7 in the first half. Can Chopper pull off a similar result? They go into the open. The 5-7 gets one on Chopper, one for Zontix, and Dijkster to trade both out. But a 3v3 established off of that as the ball makes its way through.
And a patient lurk. Nertz is calling numbers, coming through the smoke. Magix tries to get a little bit tricky, and now Nertz pounces. Shiro backing off. One shot with the scout, and now Nertz cleans him up. So it's Donk to move in.
Donk goes forward, out of the window. Oh, he's run out of bullets, goes to the USP instead. And time is ticking. Donk needs this kill soon. And it's Nertz with his USP that comes out on top.
Boy, does that get deadly. I am surprised Heroic handled the 2 5-7s at B tunnel so damn well. Going 2 for 2, that was a trap primed to shut down the Heroic attack. Kills not clean enough for Chopper and Zontix to double up. So Heroic survived, but at such a cost.
Well, D-Goal, P250s, Jopal is here for Spirit. And a quick play into the B-bomb site. Easy decision for Heroic to make. And they clean through the defenders.
This time you don't want to get locked in the strategic battle of timing of smokes and utility and taking map control. You know it's going to be an unarmored buy. And Heroic hustle into things, but they did invest in 2 MAC-10s, which means next round, if they don't upgrade, which I would imagine they wouldn't, there's going to be an advantage over towards Team Spirit's defense in terms of firepower. But Heroic have now brought this within 1. And again, it goes towards kyxsan. Look to the in-game leader to call them through all the gun rounds of this half.
Magic's looking to grab one right at the end here. Joe Beretta's unleashed for a kill on kyxsan. Not too bad at all. Would love to try and get to that weapon, but not going to happen for them. Then go to the next with just those Julies and nades surviving. But this is the buy now for Team Spirit. The AWP will come out for Shiro. He's having a great game, 15-5. Heroic have to be ready to battle against that, and so Dijkster brings his own AWP to the field. It's going to go for the mid pick. Oh, not too far off.
Yeah, especially with the smoke up as well. There's the Molotov chucked out by Magix towards long. Heroic here, that long control from the CT side and hustle down middle. Smoke up on double doors and a double challenge inside the B bomb site. Donk and Zontix paired up again on Dust2. Shiro's op is going to work long and catwalk on timings. If they feel the cat play is coming in, they know they'll hear the familiar plume of utility if catwalk is a play for Heroic, so Shiro can shift between the two. Meanwhile, they focus on middle to make sure those splits, those deadly, deadly mid to B splits, don't have impact early.
Nerds goes aggressive through the smoke in mid, and Chopper to win the first fight of round 16. Now it's Shiro's eyes gazed upon long. kyxsan removed. Oh, Magic's not a clean spread, but eventually controls it for the kill on Shush. And this is great from Team Spirit. 3 kills to open up, damage done to Tessus. No real way back into this for Heroic.
A nice easy kill in middle on the Nerds lurk. And the problem with this round now, in the first gun round, you get nothing done. You kill nobody from Team Spirit. You don't force any rebuys, and now you descend into a save. So immediately they get some money in the bank without having to rebuy weapons. A nice benefit to a good first gun round on the CT side for Team Spirit. Kill a piece for Shiro, Magix, and Chopper. AK-47 upgraded into. And they re-extend this lead to 2.
Counter-terrorists win.
Still going to have enough resources to get a good buyout here for Heroic. One that still contains the AWP. Just shuffling the rifles along to their desired holders, and now they're going to go out to that long spawn. Dakes are going for the peak, not able to connect anything on the cross, and Magic's getting into pit. Tessa sprinting out, trying to get to blue, but Magix wins that fight. Heroic down a member already.
4v5 just like the last round, losing Nerds in middle. This time it's out towards long and comfortable control for Team Spirit's defense. And you can see the emphasis with so much aggression at long for Team Spirit. They know the protocol. They know the follow-up play for the T side is to hustle out mid because resources are spent elsewhere. Shiro and Chopper immediately look towards it. But it's the catwalk play coming in.
Well, it's going to bait the utility out. Shush had no intentions, it seemed, to commit forward.
But look at the emphasis on mid. Like, you're not getting out here. Last time tried to split with a long play. This time they're going to throw more bodies into the B tunnels, but 3 defenders on this side of the map.
Oh, yeah, this looks great for Spirit in terms of the amount of people they've got here. This is going to be difficult for Heroic to break through. Zontix, Donk, and Chopper. The trifecta of death to hold on to this B bomb site, and here they come. Heroic at the doors. And perhaps knocking on heaven's door as Donk is waiting to take the first victim. The spray is not clean, only gets one. Now Chopper revealed at the back of the card. They weren't expecting a second player in that position. And so Zontix is able to use the distraction set up by his in-game leader, and they move into the site, and Zontix has got that final kill. And by sheer force of numbers, Team Spirit reached 10.
Yeah, and this is now, it's kind of switched back to like Heroic having a similar T side to what Team Spirit did on Mirage, where you're not actually getting at any real engagements early on in these rounds. You're trying desperately to get someone positioned through middle in the first gun round. Then it was long A, and this one, just sending them out with utility, but no kind of follow-up and no map gained with those deaths come in. And this is just a beautiful read from Team Spirit and Chopper as he slides over. They never expected a third defender. Donk goes 1 for 1, and Zontix is peacocking in the bomb site, so Chopper goes unchecked.
Heroic with nothing. Make their way towards short. And they are lambs to the slaughter. The Chopper ready to spin its blades as Magic's alongside of him. Gets a double. A bomb plant might be secured here. Chopper's going to try and deny it, but unable to do so. Thought he did, but realized there's a second player inside of the smoke, and now he's overrun by kyxsan. Shiro has got the rest. They've got a handle on it, but Heroic making a bomb plant out of that. That's pretty huge. They didn't have any utility even.
Well, I think Chopper didn't really care if they got the bomb plant, to be honest with you. He wanted to preserve his life and make it really difficult for them to win in the post lane, which it already was going to be before the Molotov and smoke came up. But they're buying in the next round regardless of which they get that bomb plant. So nothing too crazy gained by Heroic. And running out of time, running out of runway to get this T-side started. Still struggling to put gun rounds on the board. They had the pistol and the conversion into the first 3 of the half, but now that Team Spirit have got ops, AKs, M4s, utility, it's been no contest.
Dexter commits to the long fight. Magics has been winning the duels here time and time again, and this time forces Dexter back. Donk waits in the lower tunnels. AK primed and ready to go as Nerd swings in towards him. Donk does not deliver the double this time. kyxsan with the effective trade. Now they're going to put Shiro up on the boost, and ooh, close. It's information of 2 players short right now. And kyxsan moves through middle, sensing a slight gap in the defense that he can occupy. So Flash goes in, Chopper, oh, he's gonna go through it. Here he goes. Chopper unleashes himself through the smoke and gets blasted by Shu. Shot back from Shiro just as that smoke was re-establishing itself. And a follow-up smoke from Heroic thrown in, but Zontix waits underneath the window. kyxsan over the top to his death. Zontix has got the other. And elsewhere on the map, Magics will confirm the fact that Team Spirit are now 1 round win away from qualification into the playoffs.
I mentioned at halftime switching over, the other individuals of Team Spirit are gonna have to show up, and Zontix, to his credit, has done a good job in this B bomb site when they've attacked into it. He's delivered where necessary, and despite the fact that it hasn't been perfect Counter-Strike, it hasn't looked as clean as we would like and expect from Team Spirit, they're about to book their ticket into the playoffs and then see if they can reach a new limit there and run through the bracket to end the best year of Chopper's career on a high note.
Magics, good for the first again at long. And it feels like only mere moments away from Team Spirit celebrating progression. Chopper waits at short, Nerds to fall first. Dexter blasts through him with a deagle. But Chopper can sit back in his chair and trust that his teammates have got this one in the bag. kyxsan and Dexter want to make sure that play is prolonged for Heroic in this series, but they will not be allowed to. Donk with another headshot. And kyxsan will fall, and of course at the hands of Donk. Team Spirit, fueled by the performances of their star, surge into the Shanghai playoffs.
Yeah, beautiful series from Donk. Chopper calling a wonderful T-side on Dust2, racking up rounds in a way he couldn't do